This live broadcast of McBain Ramblers football on 107.9 CDY is sponsored by McBain and LC Family Pharmacy, Forefront Credit Union, Burkholder Family Funeral Home, Wexford Misaki Career Technical Center, McBain Auto Service, L&J Meat Market, Kelly's Pizza and Grill, McBain Hardware, Pluger Mechanical, LC Materials, McNally's Party Store, Northern Truck Service, Huttinga Electric, Falmouth Co-op, Don's Auto Clinic and High Point Cadillac GMC, Judy K. Gildy Photography, Advanced Optometry, McBain Rural Agricultural Schools, Shepherd's Agency, and a live stream sponsored by McLean Transmissions. Now let's head to the stadium and join the voices of the McBain Ramblers, Jay Simon and Gary Vanna.
Friday evening, everybody, and welcome to Owl Country. We are on the far east side of the state, Oscoda, Michigan, for tonight's presentation of Division 7 Boys High School Football Playoff action. Alongside my longtime broadcast partner, good friend, and all-around Renaissance man, Gary Hawkeye Vanna. I am merely Jay Simon, and we are thrilled to bring this one to you as the McBain Ramblers have made the 2.5-hour trek east to take on the Oscoda Owls in a pre-district football contest. It is chilly. There is snow in pockets all over the outside of the field, but it is clear. It is not windy. It is a perfect night for playoff football.
Well, any night you get to play in playoff football, it's a perfect night. That's all I care to say. Yeah, I tell you what, it's a good thing we're here in Owl Country, because I was talking to George Brown III today, and he kept on saying, it's a good thing those are the Owls, because they're going to need to have their heads on a swivel on when our defense comes at them.
That is witty. Coming to you live from the Shepherd's Insurance Agency broadcast booth. This is the Pluger Mechanical pregame show, licensed and insured for all your new installations, HVAC services, and light plumbing. Call Aaron or his brother Brad at 282-3194.
And a big congratulations to Aaron and Megan Pluger on their newborn baby, less than a week old.
Oh my goodness.
Now, my wife was doing this commentary. She'll tell you length, width, height.
You've got none of those stats. Even though you're the one with the stats all the time, you got no stats.
And she might even tell you the name. But I'm just telling you, they had one.
Enjoy the game and remember.
Oh, that is so Y chromosome of you. Hey, we want to mention as well, 107.9 CDY has a terrific broadcast area, but it is a broadcast area, and you may be leaving it for some reason. And if you are, you can still pick us up. Head over to 107.9cdy.com, and you can listen to us live streaming through YouTube anywhere where you've got a solid internet connection. That brought to you by McLean Transmissions. For anything transmission related and for quality used cars, head on over to McLean Transmission on LaChance Road between Cadillac and Lake City. Call 779-1394. Our sincere thanks to all our broadcast partners, and you'll be hearing from them throughout tonight's broadcast. Could not do this without them. Please stop in, tell them you heard them here, and thank them for their support of Rambler Athletics here on 107.9 CDY. Well, Hawkeye, the Ramblers come into this contest 5-4. Oscoda is 8-1 for the second week in a row. We have two teams meeting on the gridiron for the very first time.
That is true, and Oscoda has had a fantastic season as they've played games where they put up 70 points, 50 points. They've been really steamrolling through their opponents, and if you go all the way through the schedule, if you go back to week 1, it's the only time you'll find a common opponent between these two teams.
That being Houghton Lake. The Owls beat them 14-12. Of course, the Ramblers lost to the Bobcats 8-6 in week 3. They dropped a 21-15 decision to the Lake City Trojans the following week to find themselves at 1-3. And Hawkeye, I think you and I both were a little concerned about their playoff possibilities at that point.
Well, as a broadcaster, I was slightly concerned, and as a dad, I was going panicky about this, you know. But, you know, today we stopped for dinner on the way here. We stopped at Kentucky Fried Chicken. We had a little thank you prayer, and the thank you I had was that my son gets to play a playoff game. And
that's a big deal.
Right after that, Isaac Hope said, and I'm thankful that your son's going to play 2 playoff games.
Gotta love his optimism. That is fantastic. Well, let's talk about these two teams. Again, this is the Pluger Mechanical pregame show. I mentioned that the Owls are 8-1. Their only setback, 35-0 loss to Breckenridge. But let's make sure we make something clear. Breckenridge is 8-1. The only loss they had, the Huskies did, was to Beaverton in week 1. That was 16-6. And Beaverton, of course, is 9-0. So the loss to Breckenridge, not a terrible loss in the grand scheme of things. It's also important to note that even though they got shut out by the Huskies shut out 5 of their opponents and allowed only 1 score in their 3 other wins. So they're a pretty tough team. So Oscoda's 1 loss really doesn't look that bad. And as we mentioned, in their wins, their games this year, they are absolutely dominant. They have shut out 4 opponents this season. And as we mentioned, Houghton Lake really the only close game in their victories. I suppose you might question the strength of schedule. They've only played 2 teams with winning records, Houghton Lake being one of those, and Tawas was 4-4. Breckenridge was the other team that had a winning record. Tawas was 4-4 on the season, and they beat them 28-7. So they've only beaten 1 team with a winning record thus far this year.
Yeah, that's correct. And it's going to be interesting to see because, you know, you and I always said it's a different type of football they play on this side of I-75. And it's going to be interesting to see how these 2 styles match up because Oscoda is going to come running the spread offense where they are pretty much in love with the jet sweeps. So they're going to be putting a lot of pressures on the defensive ends and the outside linebackers of McBain and doing a lot of one-on-one matchups. So as I was talking to Coach Maloney, he was telling me there's going to be a lot of stress on Owen Bonicle, Daniel Rodenbaugh, and Trevor Bode.
Well, and we've said all season long, and I feel like this is the same pregame show we've had for the last several weeks, the Ramblers' strength this year has been their defense. They've allowed about 16 points a game all season long. It's on the offensive side where they've struggled. They've averaged just 22 points per game offensively, but their defense has been solid. They shut out an 8-1 Beale City team to give the Aggies their only loss. They're a Division 8 powerhouse and a team that's expected to do well. And they've had good success on the defensive side of the ball. And to be completely honest with you, I feel as a sort of non-football person who kind of knows what I'm watching, I feel like their pursuit has been their strength on the outside.
Yeah, there's some truth to that. But the thing is that they don't have a lot of team speed. They've been able to outman on the inside, getting that big push up the middle. And that's really generated, especially the pressure on the quarterbacks and stuff like that. That has done very well for the McBain defense. It's interesting. I think Owen Bonicle is as close to 100% as he's been for the last month tonight.
That's good news. Do we expect to see him just on the defensive side of the ball again then?
No, I think that you're going to actually start to see him playing some tight end and just being an extra lead blocker. I don't think you'll ever see him run the ball again this season.
That's all right. I want my Owen Bonicle blowing people up on the other side of the ball in any case. Talk about these 2 teams as far as their playoff history goes. Oscoda, this is their 3rd consecutive playoff appearance, and it's their 4th in 5 years. They have made 7 appearances in the playoffs since the switch to the current format in 1999. They had a significant drought from 2001 to 2014, and they only have 1 playoff win in team history, that coming back in 2000. Meanwhile, the Ramblers, as we mentioned, coming to this contest 5-4. They had a 4-game winning streak before dropping a decision to Clare last week. And the Ramblers, also their 3rd consecutive playoff appearance. It's their 7th this decade, and they've made 15 playoff appearances since the switch in the format back in 1999. They've got 5 district titles, a regional title, and a 2001 finals appearance under their belt. We've got some emergency vehicles with lights flashing to welcome the Oscoda Owls to the field, as well as the Oscoda High School Marching Band. That's a sizable band. I'm looking forward to listening to them with the national anthem tonight. This is a community that clearly has rallied behind their young men out there in the blue and white.
Yeah, this kind of reminiscent of going to a game in Lake City with the atmosphere of the crowd. There's no Jeff Hingston, but there's no Jeff Hingston anywhere else in the world but in Lake City. But with the EMT vehicles out in the end zone and stuff like that. Lights going on. See if there's any sirens going after a touchdown.
I would not be surprised. They did roll out a giant bell somewhere, too. I'm wondering if that's a victory bell over in the corner.
They have it over by the scoreboard.
Yeah, over in the corner of the scoreboard. Again, you are coming to you live from the Shepherd's Insurance Agency broadcast booth. Fantastic facility. Our thanks.
Can we try this again? The Shepherd's
Insurance Agency.
Insurance Agency, Palatial
broadcast booth, yes. Yes. It is really, really nice here, without question. Five rooms in this broadcast booth. It is, as Hawkeye described, palatial. The coaches for the Ramblers are to our left. We've got a nice big room with lots of counter space in our area. The announcers in the middle, and then the Oscoda Owls have a radio station covering this game. And then their coaches on the far side of this booth. We've got a great vantage point. I think possibly the only better booth that I have been in would be in Traverse City at Thurlby Field, just by virtue of how it hangs over the field. We're getting some final announcements from the Owls PA announcer, and we're getting ready for the national anthem from the Oscoda High School Band. And because I love a good high school marching band, I think we're going to keep it here for this. Again, this has been the Shepherd's Insurance Agency broadcast booth, the Pluger Mechanical pregame show. And let's get the national anthem from the Owls.
And everybody will please stand at attention, placing your hands over your heart as we play the national anthem.
Fine job by the Oscoda Owl Marching Band. A reminder, you're listening to WCDY, McBain, Cadillac, Lake City. Jay Simon alongside with Gary Hawkeye, Vanna, Abby Danforth, turning the dials for us back in the studio as she has all season long, doing another fantastic job. We are not the only we are not the only local team playing tonight. The Lake City Trojans are in action tonight up in Glen Lake. And as we get updates through the Voice of LC Twitter feed, that is Jeff Hinkston, we will pass them on to you. But right now, it's time for the Northern Truck Service starting lineups, Hawkeye.
You know what? Postseason, so Maloney decided he's going to challenge me by throwing a couple extra names in here. So we're going to make sure that everyone gets mentioned in this game. Number 1, Sebastian Matson. Number 2, Deacon Dottie. Number 3, Gavin Seelan. Number 5, Braylon Pace. Number 6, Calvin McGillis. Number 7, Austin Ealing. Number 8, Justin Gildy. Number 9, Elijah Baker. Number 11, Matt Utek. Number 12, Ethan Barton. Number 16, Josh Hart Jr. Number 17, Trevor Bode. Number 20, Brock Maloney. The coach's son. Number 22, Caden McGillis. Number 24, George Brown III. Number 25, Owen Bonicle. Number 33, Dustin McLean. Number 34, Daniel Brodenbaugh. Number 35, Alex Sickman. Number 44, Caleb Camphouse. Number 51, Derek Camphouse. Number 55, Matt Sickman. Number 56, Drew Vanna. Number 57, Brady Bailey. Number 62, Lucas Skolton. Number 64, Jesse Sickman. Number 66, Mac Bonicle. Number 68, Kagan Yaklin. Number 67, Nolan Burkholder. 68, is Caleb Outman. Number 70 is Joshua Mayhew. Number 70 also is Spencer Reed. Number 73, Daniel Maloney. 74, Brant Bonicle. 75, Aaron Ingram. Numbers 88, Keith Baker. Coached by Pat Maloney, Bob McGillis, Jeremy Rodenbaugh, Mark Monaco, Timmy Bowers, Mike McDaniel, Ryan Pace, and Alex Utak.
There's your Northern Truck Service starting lineups. By virtue of Hawkeye, who I'm thinking pretty soon you're not going to be able to get that kind of stuff out any longer. The Ramblers won the toss and deferred, and so they will be kicking off to start tonight's contest. Boot to ball, and the short kick, which is completely expected, scooped up at around the 31-yard line, and then brought down by a host of Ramblers at about the 42 is Owen Franklin, the junior halfback. And the Owls will get us started. 1st and 10 at their own 42-yard line.
You know, it's so nice to be back in the booth. I took last week off to sit with my wife, and I'm not sure how I felt about that because every 3 seconds she goes, "What was that? What was that? What happened there? What happened there?"
Well, I ask you that on occasion, to be fair. So here's that spread look we expect from the Owls, kind of a single T formation. They'll send the man in motion. They're going to hand it off. Here's that jet sweep that you talked about. Good blocking on the outside. And a solid pickup by Robert Host. And some frustration on the near side. Austin Ealing, I got distracted, Hawkeye. I thought Ealing, I'm sure Ealing felt he was held. There was some slapping of helmets. Luckily, no flags came out either way.
Well, I wasn't going to go against Oscoda.
So 37-yard line of McBain, a huge pickup. And it's a 1st down for Oscoda as they go right to left. This could be a quarterback keeper. Franklin will take it straight up the middle and be stopped. I was told Braden Malik has been the starting quarterback all year long, but he had missed a start because of some sort of minor injury issue. And I don't know if that's still the case, and that's why Franklin's in at quarterback, but I don't see number 3. Nope, there goes number 3 now. So that might have been a temporary situation where they use Franklin at the halfback for a straight direct snap, because now Malik is your quarterback. He's got 3 receivers to his right. He sends his slot wing T in motion from left to right. Now rolling out right, in trouble, makes a nice throw on the run, and a great catch by Franklin at the 30-yard line. I keep looking the wrong way for the scoreboard. It is to my left. I'm so used to it being to my right. So it'll be 3rd down and about 3 to go for the Owls from the 30-yard line.
Yeah, I think Madden's the last time you had to look to your left.
It could be. 2 receivers split either way for Malik. Sends a man in motion. He's going to keep it himself, try the left side, trying to bounce at the outside. Now he'll slip to the turf and go down. Did pick up a couple of yards, give him the 28-yard line. It's going to bring up 4th and short now for Oscoda, and they are heavily in the middle of the maroon zone. I would expect to see them go for this.
Yeah, McBain is really, they've been able to get 3 yards on every single carry that they want. So McBain's going to have to stand up and finally push them backwards on this. Great job with the combination blocking by.
9:57 remaining here in the opening quarter. No score. First possession for Oscoda. It's a keeper by Malik, and from our angle, it looks like he's got the 1st down. Some of the Ramblers think otherwise, but he is definitely in the area. We'll see where this ball gets marked. I think that's pretty clearly a 1st down, and it is. 1st down at the 27-yard line.
1st and 10 for the Owls. Ball spotted at the 26-yard line.
1st and 10, ball at the 27 as the Owls go right to left, wearing their home blue uniforms with white trim, white on the shoulders, blue helmets. Here's a handoff on the jet sweep. Nice stop by Franklin somehow. That's not Franklin, I apologize. That is Robert Host, and somehow Host basically skidded to a stop on 2 feet before turning to go upfield. He was going to be in trouble and found a gap that would have been a lot easier to hit on a different field.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, I'm pretty sure he's a hockey player because he had to do a hockey skate stop on that one.
No doubt. 4-yard pickup will make it 2nd and 6. Again, sort of a wing T look. They have a slot receiver as well as a man on the right edge there. Ramblers on the handoff. This is Andy Dalt. And Dalt got the edge. Looked like he was going to get stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Ended up falling forward for a little bit of a gain. Believe they're going to mark this. And we'll give him another yard. We'll mark it at the 22. It'll be 3rd and about 5 now for the Owls.
Now, that's the first time we've seen some penetration by our linebackers. If you notice, McBain's running a 3-4 defense. They only have 3 defensive linemen at this point: Ethan Barton, Caleb Altman, and Keegan Yaklin. And they're going to roll up their outside linebackers, depending where the person is, up close to try and take away the jet sweep.
Malik has Caleb Noggle in the backfield with him. Wants to roll out, roll right, looking to throw, flipping it over, and the defender went to the ground, and Franklin makes the catch. In coverage was Trevor Bode, and Bode trying to stop, slipped to the turf. Franklin had his feet, went up, made the catch. Bode made a nice tackle from his backside, grabbing onto Franklin's ankle and bringing him down, but the Owls have a 1st and goal just inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah, perfect coverage by Trevor Bode until he slipped. And I guess that's the advantage on a bad field, is that the receiver knows where he's going, and the defensive back still has to be reactionary, and then sometimes that doesn't give you a chance to plant your foot before the other person does.
7:45 to go here in the first. Owls make some adjustments in their formation. Franklin is now your wing position on the near side. They're going to hand it off on the sweep. Putting his head down is Dalt. And Andy Dalt will take it to just shy of the 5-yard line. I'll give him 5. It's 2nd and goal now from the 5. Malik comes near the sideline to get the call from head coach Mark Whitley.
You know, at first you thought this was going to be a battle of speed versus strength, but Oscoda is every bit as strong so far in this game as McBain is, and they're having their way with the defensive line. Our line is not used to not dominating the trenches there, and right now they're not.
Send a man in motion. Handoff. Ramblers get some penetration, but he's going to beat him to the corner and into the end zone. Touchdown, Robert Host. Ramblers got some penetration, and Host just ran right by it. Got to the right corner, and he is into the end zone, and the Oscoda Owls take a quick 6-0 lead with 6:49 to go here in the first.
Yeah, once again, they're able to just set up a picket fence, it feels like, and Yost just kept on running it out until he saw a place to finally turn up, and then that's when he did and found the corner.
Owls will go for 2. So they all look to their wrists for the call. A single receiver near side, trips to the right for Malik, with Noggle in the backfield, the fullback. Malik will roll to his right, looking to throw, flips it underneath, and it is intercepted by Daniel Rodenbaugh. So the 2-point conversion fails. But with 6:49 to go here in the opening quarter, the Oscoda Owls have the lead over the Ramblers, 6-0. We'll take a break and be back right after this.
In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Shepherd's Agency, founded by Joseph Shepherd, and today celebrating nearly 100 years of serving all your hometown insurance needs. The Shepherd's Agency in downtown McBain. Call 231-825-2411.
And welcome back to Oscoda High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Abby Danforth turning the dials for us back in the studio. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to Brian listening to us down in Waterford. Appreciate him tuning in.
Waterford.
I knew you'd appreciate that.
Brian, go get some Anthony's breadsticks and the cheese dip. You know what I mean.
6:49 remaining here in the opening quarter. The Oscoda Owls have a 6-0 lead here on their home field. A little bit of a slick home field based on that opening possession by the Owls. Division 7 pre-district playoff contests. We mentioned elsewhere in the area, the Lake City Trojans are taking on Glen Lake. tonight in Glen Lake in a Division 6 playoff contest.
Playing on the turf.
Kickoff from the Owls will head toward the right sideline. It was attempted to be fielded by Daniel Rodenbaugh. I don't know what the rule is. If you try to catch it, fail to catch it, then it goes out of bounds. Is that where you get it?
Yep.
It is where you get it.
McBain will take over at the 25-yard line.
So they'll mark it at the 25 because Daniel tried to make the catch. So McBain will start at their own 25 with 6:47 to go here in the opening quarter. Ramblers in their road white uniforms with green pants. Their gold helmets will be going left to right as they start their opening possession with Deacon Dottie under center and the full house backfield. Actually, this is George Brown III under center. Never mind. We got a flag on the play on the near side. Lineman throwing that, the line judge throwing that. That is usually not good for the offense. Ramblers are clapping, however. At least some of them were.
Penalty marker. Delay.
It is encroachment on the Owls, so the Ramblers will pick up a free 5 yards. McBain will say thank you very much. It'll be 1st and 5 from the 30.
Well, something weird happened on that one because Lucas Scoten was not on the initial starting there, and it went to Brady Bailey. Actually got his first start of his varsity career.
So George Brown III is under center for this full house backfield. He's usually in the backfield. He's going to hand this off to Gavin Sealand, and Sealand has got first down yardage over the 35 up to the 36-yard line. Who else is in the backfield there, Hawkeye?
Owen Bonico is back there right now, and so is Daniel Rodenbaugh.
All right. So there's your three-headed full house backfield. And as mentioned, Brown under center. Ramblers again, we'll give it to Sealand. Sealand, good penetration by the Owls. Tried to duck under that defender, couldn't do it, and got dropped. Looked like right at the line of scrimmage. No gain, it'll be 2nd and 10.
No gain on play, tackled by 53 Kimmett.
6:10 remaining here in the opening quarter. 6-0 Oscoda here in Oscoda. Beautiful side of the state, all the way here on the far east side. It's where the annual Au Sable Canoe Marathon ends, is here in Oscoda. Ramblers now in the spread formation. Brown rolling to his left now. Will tuck it and take off and be chased out of bounds just shy of the 40-yard line. It's a 3-yard pickup. It's going to bring up 3rd and 7 now for the Ramblers, as on that play, that is where Rodenbaugh runs from his slot position on the left side, looking like the Ramblers want to run an option, which I don't think I've ever seen them run the option there. Brown always turns, fakes it to Rodenbaugh, and then looks to throw. This time he got chased back to his left. Send Rodenbaugh in motion again. Brown wants to throw with time. Now he'll heave one deep and incomplete. Ethan Barton battling with his defender. That ball, a bit of a wounded duck. Probably a good spot by George. That one really wasn't going to get picked off based on where it was, but it was also a difficult catch for Barton, who nearly made it after he went to the turf, and it makes it 4th down and 7 now for the Ramblers with 5:39 to go here in the first. George will step back, and with nobody back, we'll punt, but we've got a flag before that. Hawkeye's clapping. He likes something.
No, I don't. That's the wrong clap.
Oh, that was not. That was
a wide receiver took off early on the punt coverage.
So that'll set the Ramblers back 5 yards to the 34-yard line, and they will try it again.
But they won't fake anybody out now that the Oscoda knows that this is what it's going to look like.
Yeah, and Franklin's going to go deep now. He's not even going to bother staying up. He's got nobody to guard on the near side, and so Owen Franklin, who looks like a dangerous receiver. That ball, was that partially blocked?
Yes,
I believe it was, and scooped up by the Owls, making people miss, is Anthony Ward, the sophomore, and Ward will finally get brought down at around the 23-yard line, and the Owls are going to be in business.
Yeah, that was just great penetration up the middle and partially blocked, and opportunities knocking again for the Owls.
So first down at the 22 for Oscoda of McBain. Ball taken straight up the middle, battling is Dalt. And Andy Dalt, the senior, will take it up for about a 6-yard gain to the 16. And Oscoda right now, Hawkeye, in danger of blowing this open here in the first quarter. A team that runs this well is not a team you want to get down by 2+ scores to. Man in motion, handoff is to Host. Host again gets the corner, and we got a late flag that comes in. He stepped out of bounds inside the 10 by around the 5-yard line, but a flag came in from the umpire, thrown a long way. Good arm on that ump.
Yeah, I think it was a downfield chop block.
It looks like this might be coming back. No, calling this on the Ramblers.
There we go. Nice job, Ross.
Couldn't tell what that motion meant, Hawkeye. Do you know what the signal was? I didn't catch what the signal was.
No, you can't.
I've not seen that before.
You two-fisted almost like a holding penalty, but an open palm towards you, held it against his chest and pushed it away from his chest.
Yeah, I don't know what this call is. I mean, can you hold on defense if it's not a receiver? I don't know.
Well, it's got to be more than just a holding call on that.
Yeah, something. In any case, it's first and goal for the Owls now from the 3. Send a man in motion. This is Franklin. And Franklin is into the end zone. Touchdown, Oscoda. And right now, the Owls can do no wrong offensively. 12-0 lead, and they will go for 2.
Yeah, you know, it's really the option that the quarterback and the jet sweep has is really confusing McBain, because when the jet sweep comes through, he just follows the line and he waits till there's a seam. Keep on running east and west until there's a little seam and then cut up, and there's no idea which hole he'll try and cut up in.
And the Ramblers are going to stop the 2-point conversion attempt after Franklin takes the handoff. But with 4:42 to go, that's the only good news. The bad news is the Ramblers trail at 12-0. We'll take a break and be back in 30 right after this.
We've all been there. We rely on our vehicles more than ever to get us where we need to go, safe and sound. McBain Auto Service is open Monday through Friday and are fully licensed and insured to serve you. With over 50 years combined experience, they specialize in everything from brakes to engine repair with no job too big or small. Stop in for a safety inspection. McBain Auto Service, located at 9438 South Maury Road in McBain, or call 231-825-2729.
And welcome back to Oscoda High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Huckeye, Vanna, Abby Danforth, turning the dials for us back in the studio. 12-0. Oscoda with the lead over McBain here on 107.9 CDY. Want to remind you the broadcast of today's game is a copyrighted presentation of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and 107.9 CDY. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution of the descriptions or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the MHSAA and 107.9 CDY. Well, the Owls doing whatever they want offensively right now, as the Ramblers have not been able to slow them down. And McBain about to get their second offensive possession as the kickoff taken by Trevor Bode inside the 30-yard line. And Trevor will be stacked up at around the 37. That's where the Ramblers will take over with 4:35 to go here in the opening quarter.
Well, they do have better field position in this, so obviously the tide is turning and McBain's ready to roll.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the optimism of a senior's father. McBain will come out in the full house backfield. George Brown III under center. Handoff is to Rodenbaugh up the middle. And Rodenbaugh will drag multiple defenders all the way to midfield before finally being brought down. What a run by Daniel Rodenbaugh. Felt like he had half the team on his back. That's a 13-yard pickup and a Rambler first down.
Yeah, great hole up the middle there between Brant Bonicle and Daniel Maloney.
And the Ramblers have come in quickly to the line. Again, another handoff up the middle. Rodenbaugh will take it up to about the 46-yard line. 4-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 6. Owen Bonico. Well, I tell you what, you see him coming to block you, just run the other way.
Now, Oscoda is really packing that box for this offense.
Handoff is to Sealand, and this time the Owls all over it on the right side of the line. Barry, Gavin, they're going to mark this. Now the headlinesman, where he's standing, I'm going to suggest he got back to the line of scrimmage, so that's what I'll say. At the 46. 3rd and 6 now for McBain. Well, you wonder, with as much attention as they're giving on the inside, if there's not a QB rollout there for George Brown to this side after faking a handoff, because they are highly committed on the inside. This time George wants to throw. He'll sling it, and in way too deep. Wanted Sealand running up the left side. Brown took a hit on the throw and just gave it a little too much air. Gavin unable to run under it, and it's going to be 4th and 6, and so a promising drive in danger of stalling here now in Owl territory. I don't know, Hawkeye, tough decision, I will freely admit, but 4th and 6, you've given up field position at the 42 before. I don't know, I feel like you go for this. It's do or die. It's win or go home.
I think they're just going to read to see if Oscoda puts anyone back deep to return the punt.
George is in the shotgun. He will drop back, and now he wants to throw underneath, and that should be a flag, and there it comes. Gavin Sealand was in position, and clearly the defender reached around, grabbed him, hit him early. That ball hit him right in the numbers. Gavin did his best to bring it in, but tough to do when there's a blue jersey draped on you. And the flag coming in from the back judge should give the Ramblers a first down.
Interference against the Owls is the penalty.
You know, it's an obvious call when even I see it. I never see anything. So the Ramblers will pick up the first down at the 31-yard line. No comment from you on that. Okay. That's cool.
No, I thought you did an excellent job describing that. And,
3 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Ramblers come out now in the spread look. You got Sealand in the slot on the near side. They send McGillis in motion. The handoff is to Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh kind of slipped initially, then got bumped and dropped. And nothing doing.
34.
Call it the 32-yard line is where they're at. So it'll be 2nd and 10. No gain.
Yeah, it's hard to stop and start again in this field.
No question
especially
about
right
that.
through the middle.
32-yard line.
2.5 minutes remaining here in the first. 12-0. Oscoda with the lead over McBain. Spread formation again for the Ramblers. 2 either way for George Brown the third. McGillis in the backfield, and now we are going to get a Rambler timeout. 2:24 to go in this one. Timeout on the field as the Ramblers want to talk it over. While they do, we'll take a break and be back in 30 right after this.
Don's Auto Clinic, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and High Point GMC Cadillac continue to grow together to serve you better. Our staffs are a group of hardworking individuals who, just like you, get the job done every day by showing the dedication and determination to teamwork. You will not find a more dedicated team making the car or truck buying experience more seamless and easy. Locally owned dealerships, proud to support all local high school sports. We're behind you all the way.
Ford Health System.
24 remaining here in the opening quarter in Owl Country here on Oscoda, Michigan. 12-0. The Owls lead the Ramblers Division 7 pre-district football contest. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Abby Danforth turning it down for us back in the studio. McBain looking at a 2nd and 10 from the Owl 32-yard line. A drive that started at their own 37. A big 13-yard pickup by Daniel Rodenbaugh. And an interference penalty have been the 2 biggest gains on this drive. Ramblers come out in that 4-receiver spread look. Bonico is your tailback. Rodenbaugh in motion. Brown Flip the fake. We'll hand it off to Seelan on a little bit of a counter, and Seelan making a man miss. Spinning will fall over the 25-yard line, and I believe that's where they're going to mark him down. So a 7-yard pickup by Gavin Seelan. That play developed pretty well that time, as Seelan had a bit of a hole there on the left side.
He ran behind Owen Bonico.
Yeah, that'll give you a hole.
Owen Bonico had the kickout block. Vanis cleared off the linebacker, and then there was a nice seam for Seelan to slip through.
Trips to the right this time for Brown in the shotgun. Looks to his right, tries to run left immediately, and runs right into a blue jersey. Nothing doing there. And it's going to bring up 4th down now for McBain. I think George wanted to pump fake and draw some defenders, but the defensive edge of the Owls didn't budge.
Actually, it looked like they swallowed more like the thing, because Owen Bonico ran through that hole just fine, looking for someone to block, and then they just kind of filled in right after Owen came through.
4th and 5 now for the Ramblers. Rodenbaugh in motion. Brown now rolling to his right, wants to throw. Will sling it toward the end zone, looking for Ethan Barton, and Barton cannot come up with it, battling with his defender. Had the height advantage. I believe that's Franklin defending, but Barton not able to bring it in, and so the Owls will take over with 1:09 remaining here in the opening quarter at their own 28-yard line. Owls come out again in the 4-receiver spread look. Back to pass, flinging it over the middle and almost intercepted. Ball overthrown by Malik for his intended receiver. And Caden McGillis actually had the best shot at it, but could not get underneath it. I almost feel like the Ramblers would love if the Owls would throw more.
They haven't been able to stop the run. I'm kind of thinking right now, 2nd down and 10, maybe dial up a cornerback blitz to try and cut down this jet sweep.
Come out with 2 receivers either way again, with the one player in the single wing T kind of look. The slot receiver far side, this is Host, and Host is going to get buried. Gavin Seelan coming in and causing him to slow down until Seelan's teammates could come up and finish him off. They say he was at the 27 initially, so this is basically a 1-yard gain. The 28 is going to be 3rd and a very long 9. Big play here for McBain. Again, that single wing look with 4 receivers. They send Franklin in motion. Here's a reverse. Franklin now throwing from the backfield and overshot his intended receiver. That was Andy Dalt. Dalt was pretty wide open. McGillis, the only defender in the area, Hawkeye, but that frozen rope from Franklin, really just too good a pass. Didn't put any air under it and led him way too far. But it was actually Robert Host who was in motion, took the handoff, flipped it to Franklin, and Franklin, looking for it, Dalt just overthrew him.
Zach Oyulette actually was wide open about 15 yards down the field, and McGillis went to close down on the wide open receiver and left the backside post route wide open. Luckily, it was an incomplete pass.
The Owls will do this short quarterback kick, similar to what the Ramblers do, and a nice open field tackle by the Owls. That was Zach Ouellette, as you mentioned, who catches Seelan, who took it off the bounce. It was a low punt that bounced along the turf. Seelan scooped it up and was hit immediately, but the Ramblers get a stop, a big stop, forcing a punt, and so they will take over at their own 42-yard line with 11.5 seconds remaining here in the first quarter.
McBain comes out with the double wing.
Yep, they'll hand it off to Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh will take it up over the 45-yard line to about the 46. And that should be the last play of the first quarter. 1 quarter in the books here in Oscoda. 12-0. The Owls with the lead. Ramblers with the ball. When we come back at the start of the second quarter, right after this.
Providing great service and quality to our customers, LC Materials is here for you and all your concrete and aggregate needs, both residential and commercial projects. We can assist you in estimates, sand and gravel needs, project details, and on-time delivery. LC Materials is also in Cadillac at the Concrete Store. The Concrete Store has building supplies, stone, block, tools, and other accessories to help you finish your project. So when you're ready, call LC Materials. We're ready when you are, online at lcmaterials.net.
Your one-stop farm supply store is Falmouth Co-op in the heart of agriculture country. With locations at Falmouth and McBain, Falmouth Co-op has what you need to keep all your animals well-fed and healthy. Plus, bulk fuel and professional agronomy services like custom fertilizers and spraying and soil and grid sampling. Falmouth Co-op is your premier grain dealer and birdseed headquarters. And the McBain location has pizza, burgers, wings, and appetizers. Stop in today at either location in Falmouth and McBain. Falmouth Co-op is proud to support McBain's student athletes.
12-0 our score here in Oscoda as the Ramblers with the ball. Gavin Seelan with the handoff, getting around the right edge, finally taken out of bounds at around the 45-yard line of Oscoda. He's got a first down for the Ramblers with 11:51 to go here in the second quarter. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Abby Danforth turning the dials for us back in the studio. It's 12-0 Oscoda, but the Ramblers trying to get something going. Looked a little better on their last drive. And the offense seems to be, if not clicking, at least producing.
As long as we can keep on getting better each drive.
Handoff is to Rodenbaugh straight up the middle, and Daniel Rodenbaugh will take it over the 40 down to about the 37-yard line. Gain of about 8. It'll be 2nd and 2 for McBain, as they have looked at a bunch of different formations now. That double wing that you said earlier, Hawkeye, looked for a moment to me like victory formation. I'm like, he's not going to take a knee, is he? What's he doing?
I was thinking Beale City.
Full house backfield again for George Brown III. Handoff is to Seelan. Seelan around the right edge with a little bit of room. Will take it up over the 35, and he's got a first down.
Number 3, Sealing the ball carrier, picks it up for a Ramblers first down.
And he will be brought down at around the 32, and that's where the Ramblers will have a first down. But before that happens, Oscoda wants to talk it over, and they will call a timeout. 11:15 remaining here in the second quarter. We'll keep it right here. Make sure you stick around. Our halftime show brought to you by the fine folks at McBain Hardware. And it's going to be story time with Hawkeye, is what my notes say here. Your guess is as good as mine as to what that means, but you don't want to miss the halftime show here in Oscoda. 12-0 is our score. And Hawkeye, I got to mention to you that Brian down in Waterford didn't hear our shout out.
Oh.
Apparently. So he didn't hear you tell him where to go?
Go to Anthony's, get some breadsticks and cheese dip. Get the Anthony's breadsticks and cheese dip on Williams Lake Road, and you will be a happy, popular man wherever you bring those with, especially again when they're warm, right out of the oven.
Duly noted. And if you didn't hear it that time, I'll just tell him if he texts again.
First and 10 for the Ramblers, ball to 32.
Out of the timeout, Ramblers with a 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line of Oscoda. George Brown, a little miscommunication, is going to keep it himself around the right edge. He's got positive yards. He wanted to give it to Seelan. Seelan kind of wanted to take it from him, but they really weren't close enough for the exchange. And George said, nah, you know what? Just block. I'm going to run. Go find a blue jersey. Gavin did, and the Ramblers pick up about 4 up to the 28-yard line.
You know, McBain is slowly starting to enforce their will on this game right now. Nothing major or drastic.
Brown will give it to Rodenbaugh up the middle, and Daniels, still keeping those legs churning, will take it up to just shy of the 25-yard line.
34, Rodenbaugh.
I'll give him a 3-yard pickup. And it's going to bring up 3rd and about 3 now for the Ramblers.
I mean, what was earlier a 1-yard run is now a 3-yard run. And what was a loss?
The offensive line creating some push, and the backs are taking advantage. Again, full house backfield. Brown will give it to Seelan. Seelan is going to get stopped short of the first down as the Owls get some penetration this time. Looked like he got over the 25. Did they mark this? No, they're going to mark it right about the 25. So really about no gain, and it's going to bring up 4th down now and a long 3 for the Ramblers. Full house backfield. Brown is going to keep it himself, try to run behind 3 jerseys, and he slips to the turf and is caught from behind. He just couldn't quite get going, and he had a host in front of him. But the Owls get the stop, and the turnover on downs will give it back to Oscoda at their own 26-yard line.
I'm going to argue the field got the stop. That was not the Owls that stopped him. It was that field stopping, because he looked like one of those old-fashioned Wile E. Coyote things where he's running 90 miles an hour with the legs, and they're not going anywhere because they're just slipping through that mud.
Can't disagree with you. Owls come out the spread look. Franklin's going to keep it himself. Good penetration by the Ramblers. And he will get brought down. George Brown III getting inside, stopping him for maybe a 2-yard pickup. Give him the 28-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8 now for Oscoda. 9.5 minutes remaining here in the first half. To 12-0 Oscoda lead. The Ramblers have been able to put a couple of decent drives together, get inside the 30, but have not been able to finish it off.
You know, these Oscoda Owls seem to always fall forward when they get tackled.
This is Dalton in motion, and he is going to get stacked up and stopped at about the 30. They're going to give him really nice forward progression to the 31.5. My goodness. That is the hardest job in the world, though. I think I've talked about this on about 6 of our 9 broadcasts.
No, I never heard it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how they know where to put the ball based on where he was stopped or whatever. It's the most subjective thing, I think, in all of sports. 3rd and 5 now for Oscoda. Nobody in motion. They're going to sling it out.
That's a fumble.
Dalt.
Oh.
And they're going to say it was a forward pass and an incomplete pass. That was right on the line. I agree with you, Hawkeye. But the referee right there on top of it, signaling it as an incomplete pass. And so that's going to bring up 4th down and about 5 now for Oscoda from their own 31.
Well, I guess that would be an advanced optometry good call.
That would be an advanced optometry good call, as well as a good call by you to remember that that was an advanced optometry good call. So Malik will punt, gets off a good one that Gavin Seelan wants to pick up, and now Seelan will scoop it up at around the 15-yard line. Seelan trying to run to the right, escapes one tackler, gets the edge, and then finally pushed out of bounds at around the 34-yard line, which might be about 5 yards more than Ramblers would have had if he had just let it get downed by the Owls. He tried to scoop it up. It went through his hands. He had to pick it up all the way back at the 15, and he does pick up some positive yards. Is there a flag on the play?
Blindside block on the Ramblers. They'll be moving it back another 10 yards. They may call it a block on the back.
Well, that's the exact same motion he made when the Ramblers were on defense. So how do you do that when you're on defense, I guess?
If you hit someone when they don't see you coming.
Yeah, whether you're on defense or offense, you try to go through somebody. Okay. So that's what got the Ramblers on defense earlier, the play that we weren't sure what the call was. In this case, it's a little more obvious and a little more clear, and the Ramblers now taking over at their own 18. Spread formation for Brown. Brown firing underneath, has Daniel Rodenbaugh. Nice catch by Rodenbaugh, going up top and bringing it in.
Brown's pass is complete to 34 Rodenbaugh.
Pickup of... That's going to be very close to the first down. They're going to say...
9 yards?
Nope. They're going to give him the first. They're going to move the chains. So it's a first down at the 28.
George Brown's first complete pass of the game. Looking for many more like that.
Rodenbaugh again in the spread. Pump fake, now looks back to his right over Ethan Barton, and just a little too high. So he had Barton streaking across the middle with Franklin defending. And the pass, a frozen rope from George Brown III, just a little high for Barton, who just could not bring it in.
Yeah, they faked the bubble screen, and Oscoda completely bought on it. Though you have to give credit to the defensive back over there.
Yeah, Franklin stuck with him. Brown this time will throw underneath, and a little too far for Rodenbaugh. And very quickly, Ramblers, with very little clock ticking down, find themselves in a 3rd and 10 situation here with 7:52 to go in the first half. 12-0 Oscoda with the lead.
On that one, Brown released the ball before Rodenbaugh even turned his head to see it coming. And I know that's what you're supposed to do with the professionals, but they're professionals.
Yeah.
In high school, some of these kids need to see the ball coming to actually be able to judge a catch.
Again, spread look, trips to the right for Brown. Back to pass, pump fake, throwing as he's hit. Yeah, that's going to be an incomplete forward pass as Brown was drilled from the blind side. Fortunate to get that off. And it's going to bring up 4th and 10 now for McBain. They've used very little clock on this possession, going to the spread look after the full house backfield that generated so many yards for them. Brown will get off a beauty of a punt. It's going to take a Rambler bounce, gorgeous Rambler bounce inside the 25, and Josh Hart will down it at the 23, and that's where Oscoda will take over.
Tell you what, George Brown's a little bit too tough his own liking. After he punted that, and Oscoda man ran right into him, and George was not having nothing to do with it, lowered his shoulder and buried the Oscoda man. Could have taken the hit, fallen down, roughing the
kick, yeah.
But he's like, no, you're going to hit me? It ain't happening that way, bud.
I have a feeling that when basketball season rolls around, George Brown III will not be taking too many offensive charges.
If he comes back out again.
So Oscoda will take over. 7:37 remaining here in the first half. Going left to right across your radio dial. Spread look. They send Dalton motion. Hand it off on the sweep. The Ramblers this time with terrific penetration will drop him back at the 20-yard line. First time really on that jet sweep, Hawkeye, that the Ramblers have managed to get in there going north-south and get through the blue wall that is their offensive line. And that is a big stop, and it will bring up 2nd and 13. Spread formation again, single wing. They send Dalton motion. Malik will keep it on the option with Franklin, and Franklin, 3 white jerseys coming in and bringing him down right around the original line of scrimmage. 3-yard pickup. It's going to bring up 3rd and 10 now for the Owls.
Very well played by the Ramblers on that one, as they were able to just read that option, stayed home, forced the pitch, and there was 2 men there waiting for the running back, who was 2 yards behind the quarterback, to come to them. They left him with very little room to go.
Noggle is the tailback with Malik. Braden Malik, the senior quarterback, as they look to the sideline for the call. And I think we're going to get a timeout from the Owls. As the Mark Whitley, the head coach, wanting to talk things over. 6:15 remaining here in the first half. It's 12-0 Oscoda. 3rd and 9 coming up for the Owls. We'll take a 30-second break and be back right after this.
Making the final arrangements for a loved one is never easy. At Burkholder Family Funeral Home in McBain, they can help you get through the process one step at a time. Serving the families in McBain and the surrounding communities for over 40 years, they take pride in providing exceptional services that families can actually afford. The caring and compassionate staff at Burkholder Family Funeral Home can help ease the burden. Burkholder Family Funeral Home. Visit them today at 211 North Pine Street in McBain or call 231-825-8191.
Welcome back to Oscoda High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Huckeye Vanna. Abby Danforth turning the downs for us back in the studio. 12-0. Oscoda with the lead here on 107.9 CDY. The 5-4 Ramblers taking on the 8-1 Oscoda Owls in a Division 7 pre-district football contest. Winner advances to the district final against the winner of Traverse City St. Francis and Highland Conference newbie Houghton Lake. Owls with the ball, facing a 3rd and 9 from the 24. Want to pass. Malik avoids one rusher, flips it out for Franklin, who makes a great catch and is pushed out of bounds at around the 43-yard line. That's going to be an Owl first down. Malik really made that happen, though, Hawkeye, as he avoided Daniel Rodenbaugh on the initial rush and then found Franklin streaking across the field.
Yeah, well, he did a great job keeping his eyes down the field, as they like to say, and is able to keep the ball going forward. So,
all marked at the 45-yard line of the Owls, and it's a first down. Spread look, they'll hand it off to Host, and Host, coming from the near side, running to the far side around the left side of the line, will take it up to about the 48-yard line. 3-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Well, it looks like that McBain is really tackling high on these running backs, making it easier for them to move them backwards. And it seems as if McBain can start cutting the kids at the waist. They no longer will be able to drive on them.
Malik's going to keep this himself the whole way. A lot of room to run. Malik's got a first down and more. Stiff arms a man to the ground and pushed out of bounds finally inside the Rambler 35-yard line down to the 20-yard pickup for Malik. That was a designed run. You could hear the Rambler coaches calling out bubble screen. Thought they saw something, but Malik immediately pulling it down. That was a designed run all the way. There's a handoff to Host. Host trying the left side, and a great tackle.
And a flag.
Flying in is Gavin Sealand, who brings him down, but there is a flag on the play. Thrown by the headlinesman, I believe, on the far side. Wait for the call. It's going to be a hold against the Owls. Flag looks like it around the 27 or 8-yard line.
So McBain will decline this.
Yep, they will.
It's like only a 3-yard penalty from where the tackle would be, and if they marked it off from where the hold took place.
Loss of 3, so the 35-yard line should be 2nd and 12. It is. Scoreboard had it first initially. Again, 4-receiver look with the single wing. Sends a man in motion from left to right. It's Franklin. Malik to pass. Looking right. Firing. And it is intercepted. Picked off Daniel Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh up the left sideline is going to get tackled at around the 40-yard line of Oscoda. And the Ramblers with a big turnover with 4:49 to go here in the first half. Will this be what sets them going on offense, Hawkeye?
That's a great question, but what happened on that was Rodenbaugh was playing a little bit deep in a soft safety, saw the pass. He was able to break on it, but he had forward motion, did not have to change directions one way or the other, and he was able to just cut that pass off, and big return for the McBain Ramblers.
4:49 remaining here in the first half. Ramblers will come out in that 4-receiver spread look. Brown at quarterback. Bonico is in the backfield. Firing to his left and just overthrows both of his intended receivers. Not sure who that was necessarily for. George gesticulating and Josh Hart gesticulating back. Gesticulating. Is that how you say it? Making hand motions.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how he say it. Nobody in the audience will understand it.
I didn't understand it either. In any case, obviously one thought Hart was going one way and the other thought he was going a different way. And let's go defense! 2nd and 10 for the Ramblers. Brown, and we got a whistle and a flag and a motion on the Ramblers as the receivers again Apparently not watching the ball, Hawkeye. It's going to make it 2nd and 15 now for McBain. 4:43 remaining here in the first half. I not one to question Coach Maloney, Hawkeye, but both of their drives that were significant in this first half came largely by virtue of running. And now we're back in the spread look. Brown rolling to his right, wants to throw. Under pressure, trying to throw. This ball went behind him, and they're going to say it was an attempted forward pass, and so it will be incomplete. Fortunately for the Ramblers, it'll bring up 3rd and 15.
So, I may sound really naive, but why isn't that a grounding?
Well,
grounding?
because his poor pass was caused by the hit. So you don't hold that against him. Right?
Okay.
If the referee determines that the poor pass was, if he had just let it go, I mean, he didn't intend to let it go where he let it go. In any case, Brown again rolling to his right. We got a flag on the play. Throwing, he's got Rodenbaugh at the sideline, incomplete. Flag thrown by the referee is not usually good for the offense, and this is likely to be declined, bringing up a 4th and 15. It is a hold on the Ramblers. And the flag all the way back at the Rambler 48-yard line, but I don't think the Owls are interested in taking the yards. I think they'll take the down. But who am I to say? But before they decide, the Ramblers are going to call timeout. We'll keep it here so that we can tell you what's about to happen. That penalty will be declined. I called it. Yay. 4:28 to go here in the first half. It's going to be 4th and 15 for McBain. Timeout on the field by the Ramblers. Gives us a quick moment to let you know that this broadcast is brought to you in part by Don's Auto Clinic and High Point Cadillac GMC, LC Materials, McBain Rural Agricultural Schools, the Wexford Misaki Career Tech Center, and McBain Auto Service. Our sincere thanks to each and every one of our broadcast partners for allowing us to bring you tonight's contest. If you get a chance, stop in to say hi. Let them know you heard them here on 107.9 CDY, and thank them for being a broadcast partner for Rambler Athletics here on 107.9 CDY. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna, Abby Danforth back in the studio. Week 10 of the 2019 high school football season. Division 7 pre-district playoff contest. The Oscoda Owls have a 12-0 lead over the McBain Ramblers. 4th and 15 for the Ramblers from the 45. Brown wants to throw, and he will. Looking deep, he's got Gavin Seelan, and it is caught! Seelan inside the 20. Touchdown, Ramblers.
What a great play by Gavin Seelan. Sealing off the defensive cornerback and having to make a Willie Mays over-the-shoulder circus catch to get it into the end zone. Wow.
What a gutsy call by Pat Maloney on 4th and 15. It's the second week in a row, I think, Hawkeye, that the Ramblers have scored a 45-yard touchdown catch, Brown to Seelan on 4th down.
Yeah, and the thing is Oscoda was playing that. They were there. They had cornerbacks on each of the wide receivers, and they were sagging on them, trying to force McBain to not want to pass that.
Ramblers will go for 2 as they come out in the full house backfield. Owls stacking the line. Brown is going to try and keep it himself. Brown trying to get to the corner. Brown is going to get drilled and stopped. And there's a flag on the play that comes out. Boy, the only thing I can imagine that they're calling here is a late hit out of bounds.
Leading with the head?
That could be too. Brown got hit hard and stopped from getting into the end zone. It was. That's exactly what it was. So the Owls are going to get a penalty call, and the Ramblers will get another shot at this from the 1.5-yard line.
Penalty is against the Owls.
And I would expect a Daniel Rodenbaugh straight up the middle call here.
You know, and I may be a homer, but I wish this one is that you could do the 2.5-yard line again, or the 3-yard line, and take the 15 yards on the kickoff.
Yeah, because it's really not much of a penalty, is it?
No, but the result of the damage you're doing to someone's head.
Right.
Should be a bigger.
Right. Ramblers will try it again. This time they give it to Seelan. Seelan trying to get to the edge is into the end zone. 2-point conversion is good. So with 4:18 remaining here in the first half, the Ramblers are on the board, and suddenly it's just a 4-point game, 12-8. We'll take a break and be back in 30 seconds right after this.
When it's late, when it's snowing, when you just have to have it. It's nice knowing McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain is open 7 days a week, locally owned and operated with the friendliest cashiers helping to serve your grocery needs. From candy and chips to pop and munchies, McNally's Party Store, they're still keeping it cold. And wishing the McBain Ramblers good luck in tonight's game. That's McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain, open 7 days a week.
4:18 remaining here in the first half at Oscoda High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Abby Danforth twisting and turning the dials back in the studio, or maybe she's moving the sliders up and down. I don't know what happens back there. All I know is it's magic, and Abby makes it happen. It's the only reason Hawkeye and I sound even halfway decent to you back at home. 12-8, Oscoda with the lead after Gavin Seelan hauls in a 4th down, 45-yard touchdown catch from George Brown III. Seelan, after George Brown was stopped by benefit of a penalty, he got another shot at the 2-point conversion, and Gavin Seelan took it in. And the Ramblers have cut this to a 4-point margin here late in the first half. Hawkeye, quick update for you from Brian in Waterford. Long story short, where he lives, he's never had reason to go by there. He knows where it is. He says he'll check it out.
Good deal. I'm expecting an onside kick. No.
Nope. They're going to boot this one short to about the 27-yard line, taken by Dalt. Dalt with a lot of blocking. Dalt up the right sideline. Dalt still on his feet is going to get dragged out of bounds by McGillis. But the Owls into Rambler territory. There were a host of blue jerseys blocking. And the Ramblers, Rodenbaugh and McGillis, doing a nice job of getting in there to get him out of bounds. It looked for all the world like he might take that right up the sideline to the house. Did well to stop him at the 37 of McBain, but the Owls with a short field with 4:09 to go here in the first half.
Yeah, and the Owls have been lights out when they start their drives in our territory.
Come out with 4 receivers. Caleb Noggle, the junior, is the fullback. He's the only one in the backfield. Now he'll jump over to the wing position to the left side of quarterback Braden Malik. Malik will take the snap, run around to the left side. Malik, reversing field, is going to get buried for maybe a yard gain. We got a flag on the play from the headlinesman on the far side. It's going to be a hold on the Owls, and I would imagine the Ramblers, as much as they like that flag thrown right around the line of scrimmage, are going to take this. And that will take the Owls back to about the 46-yard line, I believe.
Holding against the Owls. After the penalties marked off, ball was found at the 46.
We'll call it the 46. First down and about 18 or so for the Owls. Need to get to the 28. Call it 1st and 18. This time they come out with 2 in the backfield with Malik, 2 receivers to the near side. They'll send a man in motion. That's Franklin. Malik wants to throw pump fake right. Now he'll fling it right. Plenty of people in the way, and Rodenbaugh's going to intercept it again. Daniel Rodenbaugh needs to hang on to that ball as he was being brought down from behind, and he does. And the Ramblers, with their second interception of the half, will take over at the 30-yard line. They had 3 white jerseys in the area on that pass, Hawkeye. Just a matter of Rodenbaugh not dropping that.
Yeah, like you said, he was trying to set up the blocking ahead of him and wasn't paying attention to the receiver.
Now, Zach Ouellette was about to take that away from him. Luckily, he did hang on to it. I want to remind you, you're listening to WCDY, McBain, Cadillac, Lake City. 3:28 to go here in the first half. Ramblers trail 12-8, but they've got it back now after their second turnover at the 30-yard line. They'll come out in the full house backfield. The handoff is to Caden McGillis, and McGillis will take it up to about the 34-yard line before being driven back. It'll be 2nd and 6 for the Ramblers. Try to see if we get any kind of update from, yep, here we go. Glen Lake leads Lake City 20-13 at halftime in Glen Lake. 12-8, Oscoda here is out of the spread formation. George Brown, the third, is going to get buried behind the 25-yard line. Goodness. Looking to his left, was about to throw, looked back right, and when he did, there was nothing but blue jersey in his way. And George goes down hard back at the 24-yard line. Loss of about 10. It'll be 3rd and 16 now for McBain with 2.5 minutes remaining here in the first half.
The thing is, you can't blame your offensive line for that because he had plenty of time back there in the backfield. He just changed his mind on the play there, and then
yeah, there's not a lot of time for progressions and reading your progressions at this level, unfortunately. Full house backfield. Handoff is to Sealand, and Sealand will take it up to about the 28-yard line, and Oscoda is going to call their last timeout. Believe that's their final timeout of the half, with 2 minutes remaining here in the first half, as they are anticipating getting this back, as the Ramblers now facing a 4th and 12 from the 29-yard line.
Tell you what, if I was Coach Maloney right now, I would tell George Brown, you take another step back before you punt, and you fall down if they breathe on you. Because they looks like they've been coming after it, especially when you get one block. You kind of get that taste for blood, and you think you can get it every time.
Right.
And the only way it's going to slow him down is if it backfires on him once.
It's hard to tell George Brown III to do that.
I know.
I got to imagine he's just not terribly interested in acting weak in any way, shape, or form. So 2 minutes remaining. The Owls taking their last time out to try and get this ball back. Ramblers facing a 4th and 12. Brown will step back to about the 20-yard line and gets off a nice high kick that the Owls will let bounce, and the Ramblers should not touch this at all. Just let the referee decide that the ball is down, and that's exactly what they do. And the Owls will take over at their own 29-yard line with 1:48 remaining. That's a nice sky-high kick when you can knock off 11 seconds on a punt.
Yeah, that was huge there. Now the defense needs to continue to
Yep, big stop needed right now for the Ramblers, as the Owls have got some really good athletes out in space. The one that really frightens me is that Owen Franklin. He's already got a couple big catches in the game. 12-8 Oscoda with the lead, going left to right. Spread formation. Malik keeps it himself, and Trevor Bode lowering the boom. My goodness gracious, I heard that up here.
Number 3, Malik.
Malik gets dropped at the 30. They're going to mark it just over the 30-yard line. Give him a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. That was about the most painful 1-yard pickup I've seen in a while.
Well, it looks like he's going to take a little break after that one.
He is going to take a little break as he comes to the sideline. I don't know if that's a result of the hit or a decision. So Owen Franklin will be your quarterback. So we get down to 1:10 to go here in the first half.
Well, Franklin can't pass it to himself.
No, he cannot. He could run it. He's being chased to the right, flings it underneath, then throws it away. Incomplete. Clock will stop with 1:04 to go, and we're looking at a 3rd and 9 now
3rd down and 9
for Oscoda.
Well, if McBain manages this right, defense stands up tall, you can look at maybe getting another possession back.
Well, and who knows, you tell Gavin Sealand to run to the tree on the far side of the playground, and George Brown III slings it. You never know what might happen.
Only if it's 4th down.
That's true. So run it into the line 3 times. Man in motion. Franklin wants to throw, firing a bullet near side, intended for Ouellette, and just a little too high and hot. Boy, I wonder if Owen Franklin pitches for the Owls in the spring. That's quite the arm on that young man, and it's going to bring up 4th and 9 now for Oscoda with 59 seconds remaining.
And they stopped the clock twice for McBain.
They did. So Malik is back on the field. He's also their punter. They do a similar thing to the Ramblers where they come out in that spread formation and they let their quarterback punt. Ramblers will send Seelan deep, although not too deep. And that punt is a low screamer that's going to take a nice bounce to Seelan at around the 39-yard line. Seelan running to his right, trying to escape Ouellette, and Ouellette does a nice job of grabbing him. Pat Maloney wants a horse collar called, but Ouellette looked like he was just trying to strip the ball. Of course, that's on the far side of the field. I can't see that at all.
I agree with you, though. It looked like it was a very smart play by Ouellette. He was trying to bring
he's just trying to strip down, bring that right arm down. Yep. But the Ramblers now, with 48 seconds remaining here in the first half, have the ball at the Owl 49. Go, boys. Ramblers come out in the spread formation, 4 receivers, 2 either way for Brown. Brown back to throw, has protection, pump fake, fires over the middle, and incomplete, intended for Ethan Barton, who was hit just as the ball got there. That was bang, bang for sure. Good no call. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Well, what I like about these refs is they're letting a little hand fighting going on for position and stuff like that, and they're not calling ticky-tack flags. So, and they've been extremely consistent, but at this level, you always get the best of the best.
Get a timeout on the field by the Ramblers. 43 seconds remaining here in the first half. 2nd and 10 for McBain at midfield. We'll take a break, 30 seconds, and be back right after this.
In the small town of McBain lies a locally owned family pharmacy that takes pride in helping improve the health of every patient that comes through the door. At McBain Family Pharmacy, you're more than just a prescription. Here, you're family, and their experienced team of professionals are always available to answer any questions you may have regarding prescription and over-the-counter medications. McBain Family Pharmacy is your full-service family pharmacy for both traditional and compound medications. Call them today at 231-825-8175. That's 231-825-8175. Or stop by their store, located at 119 North Roland Street in McBain.
12-8, the Oscoda Owls lead the McBain Ramblers here in Oscoda, Division 7 pre-district football contest. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Abby Danforth back in the studio, our producer and engineer. 43 seconds remain in the first half. And the Ramblers looking at a 2nd and 10 from midfield. McBain has gotten 2 interceptions in this half. Trying to do something here at the end as they swing it out to Gavin Seelan on a little screen, wide receiver screen, and Seelan got a block, made a man miss. He's got a Rambler first down. The ball will be marked up at around the 33-yard line. First down for McBain.
And they're going to run to the line. Hopefully they have 2 plays called.
Brown back to throw, pump fake, now rolling to his right. Now just slings it up for grabs, and this is going to be picked off. Quarterback on quarterback interception. Now we got a late flag coming in.
Brown's pass is intercepted by number 3, Malik.
Not sure what that.
Block in the back.
Yeah, they
blocked Chubby in the back there, and then or tried to push him in the back so he couldn't get it. Chubby didn't go too far and was able to still make the tackle.
Chubby is
Josh Hart. The kid's 110 pounds, sopping wet, but they always called him Chubby.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer? I'm completely confused. There's 2 fouls on the Owls, it looked like.
But if it's roughing the passer here, you take that penalty, you keep possession of the ball.
Well, yeah, if that's what that was, but I'm so confused by the signals that I'm not 100% sure that that's what it was.
I heard blocking the back and roughing the passer.
Well, then you take the roughing the passer call and you keep the ball, right?
That is what I would do.
Yeah, there is another flag back at the 35-yard line in the area where George Brown III threw the ball. 23 seconds remaining on the clock as they sort this out. And I think McBain's going to keep it, Hawkeye. I think you're right. Yeah, personal foul, roughing the passer on the Owls. And the Ramblers are going to keep possession. The block in the back call will obviously be declined because it happened after the change in possession. And so the Ramblers will have a first down now after they march this off at the 19-yard line of Oscoda. So that a little bit of a strange possession ends up netting the Ramblers about 14 yards. And it's first and 10 with 23 seconds left.
And they're almost in Sebastian Matson range.
And I'll tell you what, George Brown III, fortunate there too, because sometimes you have to swallow that and live to fight another day. We've already seen what happens when Malik throws a ball into 3 white jerseys. We don't want to throw it back into 3 blue jerseys.
Well, it just looks like a lot of times George Brown ends up throwing the ball off his back foot.
Yeah, he does tend to be back foot, and he's strong enough to do it, but Brown back to throw, pump fake. Now he'll fling it again, back foot into the corner of the end zone, and incomplete. Intended, I think that was Sealand in the corner, and well defended by Anthony Ward. Yeah, again, Brown pump faking over the middle, and as he's stepping back away from defenders, just slings it sidearm into the corner of the end zone. Sealand unable to come up with it.
The thing is,
second down.
Really, at this, with 2 timeouts, or where you're at, you don't have to get a touchdown on this pass.
Nope.
You can complete it and not get a touchdown. It's okay.
Send a man in motion. That's Barton. Brown back to throw. Again, going for the end zone. Again for Sealand, too far. And again, defended on the play by Anthony Ward. So they're trying to take advantage of the sophomore guarding Sealand, and Brown just overthrew him a little bit. The Ramblers twice now have gone for Sealand in the end zone and come up empty. 3rd and 10 now with 11 seconds remaining. I don't think, Hawkeye, the Ramblers have any timeouts remaining, which is possibly part of the reason why they're going for the end zone on all these plays. One more shot at the end zone, then see if Sebastian's capable from here.
No.
2 more shots at the end zone.
2 more shots at the end zone. This time I'd go after Barton and try and do a jump ball.
Barton is lined up to the far side as the Ramblers go right to left. Bonico in the backfield with Brown. Brown back to throw. Will look for Barton. Barton makes the catch, and will he get out of bounds? He does. 3.7
No, they're running it.
Oh, you're kidding me. And the Ramblers aren't going to get another playoff. That's going to do it. Wow. Barton must have been well in bounds and couldn't get out of bounds. They blew the whistle when his forward momentum stopped, and so the Ramblers unable to get into the end zone despite some excellent field position there at the end. And so after 1 half of play here in Oscoda, the Owls lead the Ramblers 12-8. We'll take a break, collect our stats and our thoughts. The McBain Hardware Halftime Show is coming your way right after this.
Just like a referee needs great eyesight to make the big calls, you need great eyesight to tackle life's challenges. At Advanced Optometry in Cadillac, their qualified and professional staff works together to ensure your visit is comfortable, accommodating your busy schedule and addressing any questions prior to your appointment. Whether it's a general eye exam or treating a condition that requires an in-depth diagnosis, you'll get undivided attention and a plan based on your needs and Advanced Optometry's expert opinion. Focused on your eye health, Advanced Optometry on Polister Street in Cadillac. Learn more at advancedoptometry.com.
High school students are training for the jobs of tomorrow today at the Wexford Misaki Career Technical Center in Cadillac. Juniors and seniors from 12 area high schools can choose from 14 career-driven programs. Free college credit is available. Visit WMISD.org and click or tap the Career Technical Education link. See all the great programs, then talk to your student's counselor. Call 876-2200. The Wexford Misaki Career Technical Center on 13th Street across from Baker College. Proud to serve the students of McBain High School. CTC is the place to be.
McBain Rural Agricultural Schools is looking for the next generation of Ramblers. If you want to give your child the gift of a great education, make McBain Rural Agricultural Schools your school of choice. Every McBain Rambler gets a MacBook or iPad, a strong curriculum, including a variety of vocational programs, great athletics, and access to a brand new state-of-the-art performing arts center. Because great performances shouldn't be limited to the football field and basketball court. School of Choice is now open, which means a huge decision for your family is upon on you. If you want a school that will challenge your child, support your child, and celebrate your child's individuality, make sure McBain is on your short list. It's never too late to change schools, and McBain is accepting students K through 12th grade. For more information, visit McBain.org or call the superintendent's office at 231-825-2165. That's 231-825-2165. 231-825-2165.
With straightforward rewards checking from 4Front Credit Union, you get 4% rewards for doing stuff you do every day, like logging onto your account and receiving e-statements. And you can open your account right online. It's that straightforward. Unlike someone's tee shot, straightforward rewards from 4Front Credit Union. Are you getting 4%? 4.08% annual percentage yield. Rate subject to change. Interest paid on balance up to $15,000. Some requirements apply. Insured by NCUA.
Sportsmanship is still relevant in school sports. Good sportsmanship should be a given at our games. It's one of the primary reasons we have school sports to begin with, to help today's young people become tomorrow's community leaders. You can learn more about sportsmanship and download a full kit of sportsmanship ideas from the MHSAA website at MHSAA.com. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
In this moment, who has your back? Do you know the name of your insurance agent? Does your agent know your name? Or would you call a 1-800 number that connects you with who? Another state? Another country? Get a local independent insurance agent with Auto Owners Insurance. Someone you can call when bad stuff happens. In this moment, get an agent who will protect you in that moment. Shepherd's Agency, founded by Joseph Shepherd, and today celebrating nearly 100 years of serving all your hometown insurance needs. The Shepherd's Agency in downtown McBain. Call 231-825-2411.
We've all been there. We rely on our vehicles more than ever to get us where we need to go, safe and sound. McBain Auto Service is open Monday through Friday and are fully licensed and insured to serve you. With over 50 years combined experience, they specialize in everything from brakes to engine repair with no job too big or small. Stop in for a safety inspection. McBain Auto Service, located at 9438 South Maury Road in McBain, or call 231-825-2729.
Halftime here at Oscoda High School, 12-8 is your score. The Owls lead the McBain Ramblers Division 7 pre-district football contest. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Abby Danforth turn the dials for us back in the studio. Well, it was all Owls at the outset of this one as they scored touchdowns on their first two possessions, thanks to a short field after a punt block on the Ramblers' first possession. Had a 12-0 lead midway through the first quarter. The Rambler defense has stepped up since, forcing consecutive punts, consecutive interceptions, and then a punt on the last possession by the Owls. They got into the end zone midway through the second quarter. Gavin Sealand hauling in a 45-yard touchdown catch from George Brown III on 4th and 15. Sealand ran in the two-point conversion to give us our 12-8 margin. Ramblers threatened at the end of that first half, got the ball back at midfield with 48 seconds left after forcing an Owl punt. Got down to the 19-yard line, but 4 shots at the end zone ended when Ethan Barton made a catch at around the 5, but was kept inbounds. Forward progression stopped, and the clock ran out on the Ramblers. The Oscoda Owl marching band out on the field, entertaining the fans here in Oscoda, actually playing some very familiar music. Hawkeye, Avengers theme and such. The McBain Rambler marching band plays that stuff as well.
Yeah, but the PA announcer that introduces it's nowhere near as good as what you would catch in McBain. And I mean, I don't want to pick on high school kids, but over here, the flautist and the tuba just doesn't really bring it like they do over in McBain. And I just feel like if they have a little bit stronger direction by the drum majors, and a little bit stronger flout section.
For those that don't understand our sense of humor, Hawkeye, of course, parent to a tuba player. I'm parent to a flautist and the drum major in McBain, and so we have a little special place in our heart for the Rambler marching band under the direction of Heather Wiggins, whose season came to an end last week when the Ramblers played their final home game against Clare. The Owl Marching Band, though, doing a fantastic job out there in those really cool overcoat things with the split hood down the back, the white blue coats with the white, I don't know how to describe that, but just a sweet looking look for a marching band, and they're doing a nice job of entertaining the fans here in Oscoda. This is the McBain Hardware Halftime Show. We want to also let you know this broadcast brought to you in part by McBain Family Pharmacy, McNally's Party Store, Burkholder Family Funeral Home, Forefront Credit Union, and Hawkeye, you got to help me out. It's no longer the Falmouth Co-op. It's the
Series.
Series. Is that what we call it?
Ceres. Series.
Series Solutions?
Innovation Solutions.
Innovation Solutions. Yeah, that's what it was. Still have not updated my list here, obviously. My apologies to the fine folks at Series Innovation Solutions, and we thank them and all of our broadcast partners for their support of tonight's broadcast. But as mentioned, this is the McBain Hardware Halftime Show. Stop in, see Ron or Tyler for all your hardware needs. As Gary's brother-in-law will tell you, if McBain Hardware doesn't have it, well, you probably don't need it. Hawkeye has some first half statistics as well as, I believe, a little story time with Hawkeye.
A little story time. But first, let's talk about the statistics. As George Brown is 4 for 15 passing, 80 yards, 1 touchdown. That touchdown to Gavin Seelan for 45 yards on 4th down to give McBain their only score. Gavin Seelan actually has 2 catches for 61 yards. The whole offense, the passing offense got started with the Daniel Rodenball 10-yard reception and Ethan Barton a 9-yard reception to run out the first half. Rushing is led by Gavin Seelan, 8 attempts, 32 yards. Daniel Rodenball with 6 attempts and 30 yards. Defensively, McBain is being led by one George Brown the third with 4 tackles, and Trevor Bode with 4 tackles, and it looks like Gavin Seelan has another 4 tackles, and also 2 big turnovers, interceptions by Daniel Rodenball. That is your first half statistics. Now, kids, gather around and let's sit down for a nice little story. There's nothing better than going to a place where people know who you are. Like just yesterday, I went to McBain Hardware, and I was like cursing the fact that I had to go home and shovel and be ready to shovel this morning. So I got myself my new shovel, my seasonal shovel. I always wear one out every year because that's my form of relaxation. So I go in there and I go to McBain Hardware, and I got a selection of shovels, and I'm looking at that. And Dan Eisinger comes up to me and says, "What can I help you out with, Gary?" And I said, "Oh, I'm looking for a shovel, but you guys just don't seem to have what I want." And
are you picky about your shovels?
I actually am. So Ty comes up, and he comes over there and goes, "You're right. We don't have your red scrape shovel up, do we?" My red scrape shovel? You're right. Let me go get that for you. And he goes downstairs and comes up and he goes, "I didn't know if you would want a second one for the season." So he brings me 2 red scrape shovels. He actually remembers the type of shovel I bought the year before and then goes and retrieves it for me and gives me an extra one just in case I need it. And then I found these neon gloves, or these high-vis gloves. And I said, "I want to get these high-vis gloves. How much are they?" He goes, "Well, we don't have them priced yet. Why don't you go try them out and you tell us how they feel?"
Why do you need high vision gloves, out of curiosity?
Because when I ride my bike to school and it's totally dark, I want to be able to do the hand signs for turning and have.
But I didn't know you rode your bike to school.
This last 2 days, the first days I have not since school has started.
Fantastic. Cold Snap, is that the brand name, or are they warm?
Yes.
It's been a little chilly in this.
Here, why don't you try?
It's been a little chilly in this broadcast booth, so our neighbors, announcers. Well, now see, I don't know if that's your hands or if it's.
No, it's not my hands.
It's the gloves. I mean, the gloves are pretty warm, but I didn't know if that was you or if
it retains the heat from your hands so that they don't leak out.
Well, I'm going to have to go check. They got the nice grip. Wow. McBain Hardware. I'm going to have to go check those out. No question about that.
If they don't have it, then you probably don't
need it.
But there's something you do need.
That is something I do need. Well, there you go. See, folks, that's why you should be a broadcast partner with us here on 107.9 CDY, because Hawkeye will find a way to get a story about your company into our broadcasts.
Well, the great thing about all of our sponsors, and I can tell you this personally, these are personal businesses that I personally visit.
Absolutely.
This is not just some company come in and say, hey, can we get you to broadcast with us? And then you'll never hear them again until they get a check.
No, we know all these people, yeah.
These are places that we frequent ourselves.
Yep.
And that's why we stand behind them. We get them on the radio because we stand behind what they stand behind.
Yep. Our sincere thanks to each and every one of them. Really, really couldn't do it without them. Bills have to be paid. Hawkeye is not only the best color analyst in the business, frankly, he's the most expensive. And so we need our broadcast partners to allow us to put him on the air. It is halftime here in Oscoda. 12-8 is your score. Ramblers with a 45-yard Gavin Seelan touchdown catch from George Brown III on fourth down, the second consecutive week that those two have hooked up for a 45-yard touchdown catch on fourth down. What are the odds of that? And
it's actually 47 to 1,488.
Says the math teacher. I believe you. Largely. I largely believe you. Also want to remind you, as Brian in Waterford knows, that you can pick us up if you're leaving our listening area by heading on over to 107.9Cdy.com, click the game logo, and you can listen to us via YouTube anywhere in the world where there's a decent internet connection. Brian's got a good internet connection in Waterford, and so he's been listening to this game. If you'd like a little shout out, why don't you let Gary know that you're listening?
A couple shout outs I want to give you right now. We're going to give a shout out to the Neveriths as they are back home listening to us and enjoying a fine evening with the just the two of them on the couch, remembering what it was like to be 16 instead of 46. I was also going to give a shout out to the Costers as they are listening back home. They said they couldn't wait for the golden voice of the McBain Ramblers and Gary to broadcast tonight's game. So that was awfully sweet of them. Dr. Prize is listening to us online. Thank you, McLean's Transmission. So the Dr. Prizo, who was so kind to do my game for me last week, was to do it. And Todd Hamlet's listening to us. Patty, unfortunately, is not because she's on a plane to Denver because guess what? It's baby week in McBain, and her daughter, Elizabeth, just had a baby. I don't remember the full name of the baby, but the nickname is Huck. His name is Huck, and I think he came out, maybe a little bit off, at 16 pounds and somewhere around 34 inches.
I am pretty sure that is completely wrong.
No, seriously, his nickname is Huck.
No. Jeez, oh Pete. You just made me screw up as I tried to update folks on Facebook of our halftime score here in Oscoda.
I just know it was a big baby. Maybe the numbers maybe switched.
I'm sure somewhere that there has been a child born that is that size. I doubt theirs was that size. Both teams back out on the field, getting ready now, warming up here as the halftime rolls along here in Oscoda, and we are 10 seconds away, Hawkeye, from the magical 3 minutes being put back on the clock, brought to you by Northern Truck Service. If you find that to be an odd thing, you're not alone, but as long as I've been broadcasting football, I have found it very peculiar that they, for whatever reason, set the clock at 15 minutes. The teams have to be back on the field when that clock ends, and then when that clock ends, they give them another 3 minutes to warm up.
Hey, I got another shout out. I want to give it to Easton, Grayson, and Bowen Short. They're listening at home. This is the children of Heather Short. And hey, Heather, I just want to say I did actually answer your text for the first time in my high school career. Every time I have to go downtown to run errands or work with the local businesses for our concession stands and seniors, I always said, text me if you need anything, with all intentions of never responding to the text. But this time I did respond to your text, Heather.
Really, really impressive. Nice job, Hawkeye. 12-8 is our score here at halftime. Want to also make sure we thank our title sponsors, our sponsors that bring you specific segments of this broadcast, including Shepherd's Insurance Agency, McLean Transmissions, Kelly's Pizza and Grill, L&J Meat Market, Judy K. Gildy Photography, Advanced Optometry, Pluger Mechanical, Northern Truck Service, McBain Hardware, and Huttinga electric. Again, our sincere thanks to all of our broadcast.
Who's your daddy?
Partners.
Aaron Pluger's your daddy because he just had a baby. Congratulations to Pluger Mechanical, the new addition to the family.
I don't know if Aaron Pluger finds this to be good advertising or not.
I don't know. All I know that most babies get little bonnets or they get themselves cute little footies or burp cloths. But this one got themselves a tool belt. I don't know what to say about that.
Well, the Ramblers will be getting the ball to start the second half as they deferred and kicked off. As we mentioned, the Owls scored on their first 2 possessions, but the Rambler defense found its footing later on. Sebastian Madsen is actually attempting kicks from the 20-yard line to our right, and that one had the distance, might have just missed it a bit to the left, using
Connor McLean was there
holding
on the
far side.
The younger son, freshman there.
It's good to see Sebastian keeping that leg warm. You just never know. It's a nice facility here in Oscoda. There's a name for it, named after a gentleman whose name unfortunately escapes me. I bet you if I looked it up, I could find it. But as we mentioned, this is a palatial press box.
The Shepherd's Insurance Agency palatial press box.
That's exactly right.
Hey, we got another big shout out. I forgot. Oh my gosh, how can I forget about this?
I don't know.
Big shout out to the McBain girls cross country team and Connor Murphy, who will be running in the state finals tomorrow at MIS. Want to give a huge cheer for them as they will be trying to bring back another O'Malley with an all-state honor. As Maggie O'Malley would be leading your team. I'm going to forget somebody I'm going to try to remember. We got Reagan Hill. You got Sydney Hooker, Megan Taylor, Brianna Isaac going down there, Reese Insing, Cooper Agama, and there's more Aaron Van Blocken. And if I remember the other ones, I'll announce it in an inappropriate time that will give you no idea what I'm talking about.
Well, that has been the McBain Hardware Halftime Show. Stop by, see Ron or Tyler for all your hardware needs. I will be, because those gloves were awfully warm.
And pretty.
I don't know if I want the glow-in-the-dark ones. We'll see. Oscoda will be kicking off to start the second half here in Oscoda. 12-8, Owls with the lead. Andy Dalt, the senior, will put boot to ball. And we are underway. Kickoff will take 1 bounce, scooped up by the Ramblers and taken over the 30-yard line by Austin Ealing, up to the 33-yard line, and that's where the Ramblers will start their first possession of the second half.
Well, since the first 2 possessions, McBain has been able to trade punches with this Oscoda team and hang with them. In fact, McBain has gotten a score since them. Now, I'm always afraid to make that observation for the traditional reverse jinx rule. But at this point, McBain is, they survived the first 2 big haymakers by Oscoda, and they're slowly pounding their way back in the game, but they really need to continue to gain some traction here and continue to play strong on defense.
Ramblers come out going right to left, full house backfield with George Brown III under center. George will hand it off to that is Rodenbaugh in the middle, and not much going there for Daniel. He does get up to the 35. Actually, looks like they're going to give him the 36. So credit him with a 3-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 7 now for McBain.
Now, this is going to be a little bit tough running for McBain as the Owls are fresh after that rest at halftime.
Yep, hand off again up the middle. This time it's Rodenbaugh again. Rodenbaugh will move the pile over the 40. Man, Daniel Rodenbaugh running hard. Give him the 42-yard line. He is turning nothing into something as the Owls are stacking the box without question. But the Ramblers, along with that offensive line, getting a good push, and then Daniel Rodenbaugh just keeps those legs churning. 3rd and short now for the Ramblers. Again, full house backfield. This time, Caden McGillis around the right edge, and McGillis falling forward over the 45 is going to have a first down.
Owen Bonico on the tackle on that one. He said, what's Owen Bonico doing the tackle? He actually grabbed him by the shoulder pads and pulled him forward an extra 2 yards before putting him on the ground. But that was a huge advantage with Owen trying to pull the extra yardage out of him, and he got away with it.
Ball marked at the 46-yard line. Ramblers with the first down, as they have gone back to this full house backfield look. Historically, this has been George Brown III in the backfield with Deacon Dottie under center. Instead, Brown is quarterbacking. Handoff is to Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh, room to run. Rodenbaugh over midfield, inside the 45, finally brought down in Oscoda territory at the 42-yard line. He's got another Rambler first down. 10.5 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. And the Ramblers are in Owl territory. So not only is that Oscoda Owl defense fresh, obviously so is the Rambler offensive line. They're getting a great push.
McKenna Gildy, Reese and Singh, Reagan Hill, Maggie O'Malley, Brianna Cooper, Megan Taylor, Sydney Hooker. Thank you for that shout out, Kendra. That is all the girls competing at states tomorrow.
10:15 remaining here in the third quarter. 12-8 Oscoda. Ramblers with the ball, 1st and 10 at the Owl 42. Brown will hand it off. Again, straight up the middle. Alan Bonico running along. Did Bonico actually carry that ball? No, he did not. He just basically carried Gavin Seelan through the middle of the line.
I think Gavin Seelan actually did a piggyback ride between Owen, and Owen was just like, it's like that little chicken fight in the water.
You joke, but I'm not sure that it's a joke. 9-yard pickup, and I think you got to give Owen Bonico credit for like 8 of those. Seelan just rode his back up to the 33.
Owen Bonico has 10 yards on this drive, and he hasn't carried the ball yet.
That's exactly right. And here's the handoff to Rodenbaugh, I believe, and he's going to have a Rambler first down inside the 30 down to the 29-yard line. The Ramblers right now just imposing their will on the ground on the Owls.
Ball is down to the 29-yard line, 1st and 10.
9:20 remaining here in the third quarter. First down for the Ramblers at the 29-yard line of the Owls. Brown will hand it off. This is Seelan. Seelan leaping over one defender, keeps his feet over the 25, finally falling down at around the 21-yard line. 8-yard pickup for Gavin Seelan. It'll bring up 2nd and 2 for the Ramblers. Shout out Todd Hamlet. Todd and Patty listening to us down in Grand Rapids. Patty's getting ready to fly to Denver to visit her new grandson. Congratulations. Todd and Patty Hamlet are old enough to have a grandchild?
No, they're not.
I was going to say, are you kidding me?
I said, Patty, you must.
I don't believe that.
I can't believe you're 34 years old and you have a granddaughter.
That is crazy.
Or son, I mean.
Rodenbaugh will take the handoff. Rodenbaugh spinning away from one defender, gets inside the 20, down to the 19-yard line. This is going to be very close to a Rambler first down. We'll see where they mark it. And the headlinesman says, move those chains. First down for the Ramblers. 8.5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. McBain going old school with the full house, and it's working.
This is what you wanted to see on the last drive at the half.
Brown under center. Again, full house backfield. Brown will give it to Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh bounces off one defender who got blocked to the ground by Bonico. And Rodenbaugh will pick up positive yards, take him up to about the 16-yard line. That was unreal because that defender ran into Rodenbaugh. Bonico came over and just pounded him to the turf. Rodenbaugh bounced off him and kept going for positive yards.
Well, what happened is when Rodenbaugh went to engage him in the block, the defender's hands were tied up with Rodenbaugh. That all he could do is throw his shoulder into, his hands were tied up with Bonico, so all he could do is throw his shoulder into Rodenbaugh.
Handoff is McGillis around the right edge. McGillis, somebody gets a handful of jersey and they'll sling him back. He is over the 15-yard line, though. Just over the 15, maybe the 14-yard line. The linesman on the near side says 15. We'll mark it there. Gain of a yard. It's going to bring up 3rd and 6 now or so. Call it 3rd and 4 for McBain. They've gained 6 at the 15. Ramblers will hand it off to Rodenbaugh, who again somehow manages to pick up more yardage than you would think he would in that situation, and he's up to about the 10. And it's going to bring up 4th and a yard now for the Ramblers as we get inside 7 minutes to go here in the third quarter. Ramblers will obviously go for it. Full house backfield again. Brown under center. And did they get him to jump? They did.
We haven't seen that play since Jared Lahr.
Oh, the Owls, Hawkeye, I was going to say something to you a number of plays ago, because the Owls, as the Ramblers come to the line quickly, the Owls seem to get just more and more fired up to stop the run. They get in that box, they get jazzed up, and that time the Ramblers on the 4th and short get them to jump. And they'll pick up the first down. It'll be 1st and goal now at the 5 for McBain with 6:23 remaining here in the third quarter.
I hear someone knocking on the door.
Handoff is to Seelan. Seelan to the left side of the line. Touchdown, Ramblers.
For the door. Trick or treat. Smell my feet. Gavin just made it into the end zone.
Gavin Seeland with the 5-yard touchdown run makes it 14-12. McBain, as they will go for 2. Again, the full house backfield for the Ramblers. Brown will give it to Seeland, trying to get to the outside, and a nice tackle by Ouellette, wrapping up Seeland, and nowhere to go for the young man, and the 2-point conversion fails. But with 6:13 remaining in the third quarter, the McBain Ramblers have their first lead of the game, 14-12 here in Oscoda. We'll take a break and be back right after this.
Don's Auto Clinic, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and High Point GMC Cadillac continue to grow together to serve you better. Our staffs are a group of hardworking individuals who, just like you, get the job done every day by showing the dedication and determination to teamwork. You will not find a more dedicated team making the car or truck buying experience more seamless and easy. Locally owned dealerships, proud to support all local high school sports. We're behind you all the way.
14-12, our score. 6:13 to go here in the third quarter at Oscoda High School. The Ramblers with their first lead of the game over the host Owls. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna, Abby Danforth back in the studio, making everything sound pretty for us. And that's a tough job with Hawkeye and I. Faces for radio without question.
And voices for print.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But we appreciate that you are listening as the Ramblers have quieted this Oscoda crowd as they have a 14-12 lead, a 12-play drive that ends with a Gavin Seeland 5-yard touchdown run. The 2-point conversion failed, but the 2-point lead right now, by virtue of the Ramblers having the only conversion on 4 tries by these two teams. Keep refreshing Jeff Hingston's Twitter feed. Here we go. After 3 quarters of play, the Trojans trail Glen Lake 27-19 in Glen Lake, for those interested. The kickoff from the Ramblers is going to be all the way inside the 5, scooped up by Dahl back at the 3. We got a flag on the play that's probably a block in the back just based on what was happening down there, and it's run back to about the 15-yard line. But what a kickoff. Is it George Brown with the kickoff?
No.
Who is that kick? You sure that wasn't George? Looked like George, but maybe I'm wrong. But boy, that kickoff was long, went over Dahl's head, and then checked up inside the 10 at about the 4 where it was picked up. Flag was thrown at around the 11, 12-yard line. We think it's a block in the back. Referee is picking his flag up. He's not waving it off. They are coming back inside the 15. Did you see him make the motion?
It's coming right here.
Oh, here it comes. Yeah, it is a block in the back by the Owls. So the ball will be spotted for Oscoda at their own 5-yard line. So the Rambler defense, after a Rambler touchdown, now with a great opportunity, the Oscoda Owls pinned back at their own 5.
And I like to call that advanced optometry. Great call.
There you go. Oscoda comes out in that spread look. 2 backs with the quarterback. High snap. He's going to take it himself straight up the middle and some room. Gets into the second level, up outside the 10, up to the 14-yard line. Going to be close to a first down. That's Braden Malik. Stopped at about the 14. That'll be a 9-yard pickup. It'll be second and short. Actually, looks like they need to get to the
12? Oh, excuse me.
17. So I think this drive must have started on the 7, not the 5. Second and 2. Malik again, straight up the middle with room. Into the second level again, and he's got another first down. So this is actually Owen Franklin, the backup quarterback and standout receiver. Malik is going to come back into the game now. It's almost like they bring him over to give him a play, and while they do that, they let Owen Franklin go pick up a first down, which he does. So 2 nice runs up the middle by Braden Malik and Owen Franklin, and the Owls have a first down at their own 26-yard line. Handoff on the jet sweep. This is Host, and Host wrapped up and dropped after getting over the 30-yard line, given the 32. 6-yard pickup will make it second and 4 now for the Owls.
And what happened is George Brown had to tackle, caught him about the line of scrimmage, but got him up high by the shoulder pads, and when he wrapped him up from behind, he also was able to drive his legs a couple more yards and fall forward to get the extra yardage.
Malik will give it to Dalter on the left edge. Lots of good blocking, and he's got a first down for the Owls over the 40-yard line as Oscoda, the offense, after sitting on the sideline for just about half of this third quarter, itching to get things going offensively, and they are. Another first down, this time at the 43-yard line, a 11-yard pickup, and another Owl first down.
No, you said the offense sitting on the sideline. You talk about the 3 players that don't play both ways?
Yeah, you know what I mean. Here's the handoff to Host. Host coming around the near side, cutting up field, still churning those legs, and he is finally taken out of bounds by George Brown III, but not before picking up another Owl first down in McBain territory. Again, the Ramblers got a little penetration, but Host just ran right by it, turned up field, and picks up another big first down, 42-yard line of the Ramblers. Again, as I mentioned in the first half, Hawkeye, this is where the Ramblers are kind of saying, why don't you throw the ball? We have good luck when you throw the ball. And we're going to get a Rambler timeout with 4:03 remaining here in the third quarter. Coach Ryan Pace and Matt Maloney want to talk things over defensively. We'll take a quick break and be back in 30 seconds right after this.
Providing great service and quality to our customers, LC Materials is here for you and all your concrete and aggregate needs, both residential and commercial projects. We can assist you in estimates, sand and gravel needs, project details, and on-time delivery. LC Materials is also in Cadillac at the Concrete Store. The Concrete Store has building supplies, stone, block, tools, and other accessories to help you finish your project. So when you're ready, call LC Materials. We're ready when you are, online at lcmaterials.net.
4:03 remaining here in the third quarter at Oscoda High School. Timeout on the field called by the Ramblers. They lead the Oscoda Owls 14-12 here in this Division 7 pre-district football contest. Winner will take on the winner of Traverse City, St. Francis, and Houghton Lake. Those two schools playing tomorrow at Thurlby Field. Ramblers with a 6-minute drive, 12 plays, scored on a Gavin Seeland 5-yard touchdown run to take a 2-point lead. But the Owls, after starting this drive at their own 7, thanks to a block in the back on the kickoff return, have put the ball on the ground, and they are marching. First down at the 42-yard line of McBain. Here's Braden Malik keeping it himself, trying the left side, and he is wrapped up and then dropped. That is Caleb Outman finishing him off. I would get up slow after that.
I tell you what, if he has a sore back before that run.
3-yard pickup will make it 2nd and 7. And Malik is going to come off the field, kind of holding that right arm down to his side. I don't know if that's purposeful or not.
Gamemanship.
So Owen Franklin will come back in, the junior, to the quarterback position. He's got Noggle in the backfield with him. He'll take the handoff straight up the middle and take it to about the 35-yard line. Gain of 4. It's going to bring up 3rd and short now for the Owls.
Yeah, it almost seems like you want Franklin to throw it, so you should key on him running. But I don't think Franklin's completed a pass yet, and he is the most dangerous receiver, so you know he can't complete it to himself.
He's got an absolute gun for an arm, but he has not, as you mentioned, completed a pass in this game.
And as he comes off here, I would expect to key on a run play and roll my safety up.
Noggle, the fullback, will switch from the right to the left side in the wing position. And now we got a flag.
Delay game.
Delay a game. We're going to say timeout before the flag. I believe we've got an Oscoda timeout before the flag. We'll keep it here, 14-12. Ramblers with the lead, 2:36 to go here in the third quarter. Owls have put together an impressive drive, started at their own 7-yard line, and they've gotten to the Rambler 35 in just 7 plays. And they are looking at a 3rd and 4 right now from the Rambler 35-yard line.
Yeah, right now the Owls are getting yards in big chunks. You know, you worry about high school being able to sustain a double-digit drive, but when you're getting runs of 7, 12, 14, 6 yards, I don't know if they've had a run less than 4 yards since they started this drive. So that's really kind of helping them keep the drive alive, because it's a lot of drives for a high school team to execute all the way through.
Yeah, unofficially, I've got them for 7, 12, 6, 11. The big one for 20-some yards. And now these last 2 have been for 3 and 4 yards. So Malik is back at quarterback. Owen Franklin now back on the field for the Owls, who come out in that single wing look. Franklin is your wing back on the left side. They send Dalt in motion. Malik wants to throw, slinging it out here on the near side, and it's incomplete. I believe incomplete. He looked like he may have caught it and then began to run, but I think they're calling this incomplete. Yeah, they're going to mark it back at the 35-yard line.
He never finished the process of the catch.
Yeah. Is this the NFL? He did not make a football move. I mean, honestly, I thought he caught it and made a football move and then fumbled it out of bounds, but they're saying that he never did have possession of the ball. So it's going to be 4th and 4 now for the Owls from the 35.
Another advanced optometry good call.
They'll send Dalton motion.
Oh, fumble on the play.
Fumble is snapped. I don't know what happened on the snap. It never even got back to Dalt, much less Malik. And the Ramblers are going to take over, turnover on downs.
Well, the snap actually hit Dalt as he's coming across on the motion play.
I didn't even see it get to him, did it?
Yeah, it went right off his thigh.
So Dalt, when he came over in motion, the snap hitting him in the thigh, as Hawkeye said. The Owls recovered it, but being 4th down, it's a turnover on downs, and the Ramblers, with 2:24 to go here in the third quarter, will take over at their own 37-yard line. Full house backfield. Handoff is to Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh up the middle, slips to the turf, picks up a couple.
Maloney's hoping for deja vu all over again on this drive.
Well, so is everybody on the far side of this field. And the man to my left. Call it to 38. We'll give him a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9 for the Ramblers. Again, full house backfield behind George Brown III. He'll hand it off to Caden McGillis. McGillis trying the right side, wrapped up and dragged back. Nice tackle by Host, who stepped up from that left side. And the Owls right now seem to be figuring some things out defensively. We'll give him a yard to the 39, but it's going to bring up 3rd down and about 8 now for McBain.
So look at the spread offense coming back out.
Yeah, Ramblers will come out in that spread look. Hart is your receiver to the near side. Rodenbaugh now in the slot, really the wing position there. Now he'll flip to the opposite side of the field. You got 2 receivers to the far side are Barton and Seelan. Brown back to throw. Will sling it out for McGillis. Too far, and it's going to be picked off at midfield. He was trying to lead McGillis, and he let it right into the hands of Robert Host, who brings it in, and the Owls will get it right back at midfield. I'm not sure if Hawkeye, if George Brown even saw Host. He was trying to lead McGillis on that little sort of curl pattern, wheel route, yeah. And I don't know that he ever even saw him.
That may be what happened. I think you're right that Brown was throwing to a spot, not a person. And he was expecting his man to be able to get to that spot.
The unfortunate thing was he had overthrown his man, but perfectly thrown Host. So the Owls will take over. Host in motion. Franklin from the quarterback position, following the block over the left side, might have picked up a yard. Not sure why the lineman is all the way over here at the 45-yard line. Line judge. Give him a yard, 49-yard line of McBain. It'll be 2nd and 9. What was the line judge up at the 45-yard line for? I was confused by that.
I'm sorry, I was watching the action behind the play. There was an interaction where one of our men thought he was being severely held, and the umpire was kind of explaining to him to play football.
Trips to the left for Malik. Sends a man in motion. That's Host coming near side. Malik wants to throw. There's nobody defending his receiver on this side, and he never saw him. Ouellette was as wide open as a human being can get on a football field. He was running up the right sideline over the numbers, Hawkeye, and there was literally not a Rambler on this half of the field in the secondary. Obviously, some miscommunication by McBain. Fortunate for the Ramblers that Malik never saw him to the right side, tried to throw it in on the left side, and the Ramblers broke it up. But wow, Ouellette was, I can't even describe how open that young man was.
Well, let's just say there was no one past the 40-yard line except for one blue jersey, and he was sitting on the 10-yard line all by himself.
Franklin comes off the field. Malik with the fullback in the backfield wants to throw, rolling out to his right. Flips it underneath, has a man caught and pushed out of bounds. That is Host. And that is another situation, Hawkeye, where they roll out to the right, and that's a defender, the wide receiver coming from the left side of the field. The Ramblers have the two receivers on the near side well covered, but Host coming from the left side to the near side, nobody picked him up, and a perfectly thrown pass by Malik again with 7 seconds left gives the Owls a first down at the Rambler 25-yard line. Send Host in motion. They'll flip it to him. Host is going to get dragged down in the backfield. Great tackle by Gavin Seelan, who got through the gap and brings him down back at the 30-yard line. Loss of 5 as Seelan, with terrific penetration, shot the gap off the right edge for the 5-yard loss. That is it for 3 quarters of play here in Oscoda. The Ramblers clinging to a 14-12 lead. Final 12 minutes of this one are coming up. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Providing great service and quality to our customers, LC Materials is here for you and all your concrete and aggregate needs, both residential and commercial projects. We can assist you in estimates, sand and gravel needs, project details, and on-time delivery. LC Materials is also in Cadillac at the Concrete Store. The Concrete Store has building supplies, stone, block, tools, and other accessories to help you finish your project. So when you're ready, call LC Materials. We're ready when you are, online at lcmaterials.net.
Making the final arrangements for a loved one is never easy. At Burkholder Family Funeral Home in McBain, they can help you get through the process one step at a time. Serving the families in McBain and the surrounding communities for over 40 years, they take pride in providing exceptional services that families can actually afford. The caring and compassionate staff at Burkholder Family Funeral Home can help ease the burden. Burkholder Family Funeral Home. Visit them today at 211 North Pine Street in McBain or call 231-825-8191.
And welcome back to Oscoda High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. 14-12, Ramblers with the lead. Owls with the ball. This ball is tipped and intercepted. Daniel Rodenbaugh with his 3rd pick of the game will take it back to the Rambler 39-yard line. Ball was tipped at the line. And Daniel Rodenbaugh, with his 3rd interception, gets the ball back for the Ramblers after the Owls threatened.
And that was thanks to Ethan Barton. Long arm of the law, Barton, or as they like to call him the locker room, Big Bird, used all of his wingspan to bat that one free. It was a wounded duck, and it was all done by Daniel Rodenbaugh. on the interception and a great return.
So the Ramblers with new life will come back out again in that full house backfield. But the Owls seem to have made some sort of adjustment, Hawkeye, and there's not much there. 1st and 10 from their own 40-yard line.
Well, they sold out on the, and that's all they're going to defend.
I want to remind you, you're listening to WCDY, McBain, Cadillac, Lake City. Jay Simon and Gary Hawkeye Vanna with you. 14-12 McBain with the lead here in this D7 pre-district football contest. Ramblers with a 2nd and 10 from their own 40. Rodenbaugh will stumble forward, take it up to about the 44-yard line.
34, Rodenbaugh, ball carrier.
Gain of 4. It'll be 3rd and about 6 for the Ramblers as we hit the 11-minute mark remaining here in this ballgame.
Ball is spotted at the 44-yard line.
See what Coach Maloney dials up. They come out in the full house backfield. Brown under center. Brown will hand it off up the middle, and not much there. Rodenbaugh tripped up right away, could not get any momentum going. Looked like a decent blocking up the middle. It's tough to say from this angle, but one of the Owls got him at the line, and he goes to the turf. Gain of about a yard to the 45. It's going to be 4th and 5 now for McBain with 10:23 remaining in the ball game. They'll come out in the spread look that they do for punting. I don't know if George has got the green light on this or not. Owls will bring some pressure. George gets off a beauty of a punt.
Check.
That needs to check up and will. It's going to get down at the 5, scooped up by Host, and Host will get away and then get buried.
By the punter?
By George Brown III. You don't see that too often. Wow. Host did a nice job, really, Hawkeye, picking that up at the 5, not letting the Ramblers down it, and made a man miss there. Takes it out past the 15. So the Owls will take over at their own 16-yard line, but the last time they started inside their own 20, put together a terrific drive. 9:59 remaining in the ball game. Ramblers clinging to a 2-point lead. Owls with Franklin at quarterback. Franklin's going to keep it, trying the right side, and he is immediately hit at the line of scrimmage. Might have got out to about the 18. I'll give him 2 yards because I'm a generous man. It'll be 2nd and 8 for the Owls.
About 1 yard, called 2nd down, 9 to go. Tackle on the play by 68.
And just like I was calling this game at home, Hawkeye, the PA announcer disagrees with me.
Yeah, but it wasn't the Hall of Fame.
It wasn't the Hall of Famer, that's true.
So McBain has now switched to a 5-man defensive front with Owen Bonica with his hand in the dirt.
Franklin back to pass. Franklin looking near side, has a man deep off his hands, incomplete. Wow. What a throw. Owen Franklin to the sophomore Anthony Ward hit him right in the hands, and Ward just couldn't quite bring it in.
Because that was a touchdown.
That was an absolute touchdown. What a throw from Owen Franklin. That was an impressively drawn up play. You could see it immediately. Ward had a step on his defender, and Franklin put it in just the right spot. Instead, it'll be 3rd and 9. 9:19 to go in the game. 14-12 McBain. Franklin stays in at quarterback.
No.
I'm sorry. You're right. Braden Malik back out. Malik wants to throw. Malik pump fake, coming back, looking for his man, and a little high, looking for Franklin. Defended on the play by Gavin Seelan, who climbed the ladder to try and slap it away. The pass a little too high for Franklin. Boy, Owen Franklin's a heck of an athlete.
Oh, he is.
He's got a gun for an arm. They throw him out there at receiver. He's their primary target. He's been their best runner, really, in this game. I think the only thing that's keeping him from dominating games is anaerobic capacity. How many plays can you put him out there for? So 4th down and 9 now for the Owls. High snap for Malik, and he will get this punt off. Straight up the middle, Ramblers will avoid it, and the Owls will down it in Rambler territory. I'm not sure why McBain even gets near that ball. It's okay if the clock runs out, guys. You have a 2-point lead. They can run clock run all they want, right? I don't know. I've never played.
I don't know either.
I don't know.
Because I was always a lineman.
Yeah, but you were taught to run away from that thing, probably?
Yeah, that's what I was taught to do. We had 53 players on my varsity football team. You think we had two-way players at that point? No, I was an offensive lineman.
Oh, that's well. So on offense, were you on the punt team?
No, we had 53 players on our team.
Daniel Rodenbaugh with the carry straight up the middle. Big hole created by the offensive line, and Rodenbaugh into Owl territory down to the 41-yard line, has a Rambler first down. Big hole for Daniel Rodenbaugh. And the Owls, the only thing saving a touchdown was the fact that they've got all 11 men in about a 12-yard wide area in the middle of the field.
Well, the thing is that
that's where the Ramblers
when you sell out to get the run and you slip past those linebackers, you're in the second level quickly.
Same thing, same player. Rodenbaugh, again, same result. Over the 40, inside the 35-yard line. Brought down at around the 34, 7-yard pickup. It's going to bring up 2nd and 3 as we hit the 8.5-minute mark to go here in the fourth quarter. Ramblers have a 14-12 lead. The difference right now, a 2-point Gavin Seelan touchdown, 2-point conversion run
after
in the second quarter. Yep, after a penalty gave the Ramblers a second try at it. Brown's going to pitch this out to Seelan. Seelan with room. Seelan going for the corner of the edge of the field there, in Ouellette, who may be the fastest guy on this field, rushes him down and keeps him from turning the corner. But Gavin Seelan has a first down. They chase him out of bounds at about the 29-yard line. So it's a first down, McBain. Clock stops with 8:06 to go here in the ball game. Boy, Ouellette is quick. I thought Seelan was going to get the corner, and Ouellette just cut it off. Full house backfield. Brown gives it to Rodenbaugh. Rodenbaugh straight up the middle. Rodenbaugh again keeping two hands on that ball and dragging blue jerseys with him over the 25-yard line down to the 22. It's a 7-yard pickup, and it sets up a 2nd and 3 for the Ramblers.
About 7 yards. 2nd down and 3 to go.
14-12, McBain with the lead. A reminder, this is a D7 pre-district contest. Winner would take on the winner of Traverse City St. Francis and Houghton Lake. That game being played tomorrow at Thurlby Field.
What time?
I believe at 1 o'clock. I can double check. Full house backfield for the Ramblers. Brown, again Rodenbaugh through the first line, hit by Franklin at the linebacker spot, but not before getting over the 15-yard line, and another Rambler first down. Daniel Rodenbaugh doing a yeoman's work effort out there. He has carried the ball on all but one, I believe, of the plays on this drive. And we're going to get an Owl timeout. 7:10 remaining in the ball game. Ramblers lead at 14-12. They've got a first down at the Owl 14-yard line. We'll take a break and be back in 30 right after this.
Your one-stop farm supply store is Falmouth Co-op in the heart of agriculture country. With locations at Falmouth and McBain, Falmouth Co-op has what you need to keep all your animals well-fed and healthy. Plus, bulk fuel and professional agronomy services like custom fertilizers and spraying and soil and grid sampling. Falmouth Co-op is your premier grain dealer and birdseed headquarters. And the McBain location has pizza, burgers, wings, and appetizers. Stop in today at either location in Falmouth and McBain. Falmouth Co-op is proud to support McBain's student athletes.
7:10 remaining in the ball game here at Oscoda High School. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna, Abby Danforth turning the dials for us back in the studio. And the Ramblers have a 14-12 lead and the ball 1st and 10 at the Oscoda 14-yard line. It's been a back and forth affair from a standpoint of turnovers, but it has not been back and forth in terms of scores. The Owls scored in their first two possessions to take a 12-0 lead. The Ramblers scored in the second quarter to cut it to 12-8 and scored on their first possession of this second half to make it 14-12. The teams traded interceptions and punts, and the Ramblers now with a 1st and 10 at the 14. Rodenbaugh again with the carry. Takes about 4 blue jerseys to bring Daniel Rodenbaugh down.
34 Rodenbaugh, the ball carrier.
And Rodenbaugh will take it up to the 10.
4 yards, 2nd down and 6 to go.
So that is a hard 4-yard run.
So that puts them at 113 yards rushing and 21 carries this game. And more importantly, it's helping the Ramblers roll the bone.
6.5 minutes remaining in the game. 2nd and 6. Handoff is to Seelan. Seelan spins off a defender, and now he's going to get dragged down back at the 15-yard line. They're going to mark him at the 14, so he loses the pickup on the previous play, and it'll bring up 3rd and 10 now for McBain at the 14. 6:15 remaining in the game and ticking.
3rd down and 10 to go.
If you're Oscoda, do you just assume this ball is coming up the middle with Daniel Rodenbaugh?
Well,
and if you're McBain, do you care that they know?
Do you trust the Hosses up front?
That's the key. McGillis, Seelan, and Rodenbaugh in the backfield. Handoff is to Rodenbaugh, and the Owls with good penetration stop him in the backfield. Actually, that was Seelan, I believe, on the carry. They tried to get Seelan on what I guess you might describe as a little bit of a counter play. Noggle, the fullback on defense, steps up and stops him. And so it'll be 4th down and 10 now for McBain with 5.5 minutes remaining at the 14-yard line. They can pick up a 1st down at the 4. The Ramblers come out again in the full house backfield. I'm going to call it fake George Brown roll out to the right. And the Ramblers get the Owls to jump again. So the Owls are going to give the Ramblers 5 yards to the 9.
And the thing that really hurts the Owls on that play is that even if they stop and McBain, they just
caught themselves 5 the other way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so they just
digging their own hole deeper, even if they get the stop.
Yeah.
And the clock continues to run.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Kathy. Is there another sentence of mine you want to finish for me?
I wish she was listening. She'd be so proud of me.
What I don't understand is that gives McBain a fresh 30.
Full house backfield for the Ramblers. 4:45 to go, and now we're going to get a timeout by the Ramblers. 4:44 on the clock. 14-12. McBain with the lead, facing a 4th and 5 at the, should be the 9-yard line. The clock has it at the 10. In any case, 4th and 5 coming up for McBain. We'll keep it right here. Don't forget the Kelly's Pizza and Grill post-game show will be coming up at the conclusion of this one. We'll have your final stats and thoughts. We'll have your post-game awards. And the Ramblers are hoping that we'll have information about what might happen next week, should they be fortunate enough to come out of this with a win.
Hey, shout out.
A lot of time to go here.
Shout out to Tracy, or Macy, Trey, and Drew Bovin, who have always been huge Rambler fans back in the McBain area.
Hey, did you know that Jeff Hingston is followed by Barack Obama?
No, I did not.
That's an impressive follower on Twitter.
That it is.
Out of the timeout. 4th and 5 from the 9 for the Ramblers. Full house backfield. George Brown will pitch it out to Seelan. Seelan trying to get the corner and nothing doing. Because why? Because Zach Ouellette, easily the fastest kid on the field, basically beat Seelan to the spot Seelan wanted to get to and had him on his own. Seelan tried to cut to get inside of him, and that was just not happening. Got to give Zach Ouellette, the junior, a lot of credit, Hawkeye, because he sniffed that out and beat Seelan before Seelan could even get to the line of scrimmage. Seelan had no chance to get to the outside edge. And the Ramblers turn it over on downs. Oscoda takes over at their own 14.
McBain was hoping to take advantage of the packed full house, and they were unable to. Oh, great play there by George Brown.
Yeah, Host on the jet sweep is brought down by Brown. Spun around was Host. And that's actually, they're going to mark it at the, yeah, we'll call it the 14. No gain on the play. Hawkeye frantically trying to get the clock to move quicker up here in the press box. Clock ignoring him and continues to march on inexorably as it always does. Malik back to pass, firing over the middle. That's caught. Franklin, what a grab. Inside of Josh Hart and Gavin Seelan. Owen Franklin doing his own Gavin Seelan imitation, brings it in at the 35-yard line. It's a first down for Oscoda. What a catch.
Told you Franklin can't throw it to himself, so they decided to put him back at wide receiver, knowing that he is a horrible matchup for anybody.
Franklin takes a seat on the sideline, and the Owls will send Dalt in motion. They'll hand it off to Dalt. Dalt will try to cut back up, and there's nothing there. Ramblers stand him up. Inside the 35, he's going to lose yards. See where they mark this. This has got to be back at least at the 32. And that's exactly where they're going to mark it. Loss at 3. It'll bring up 2nd and 13.
Ball be spotted at the 32-yard line, called 2nd down and 13.
Realized I've been marking all of these plays in the fourth quarter, from the fourth quarter in the third quarter section. It's pretty funny. Never even noticed till now. 3:05 remaining in the ball game. They send Franklin in motion. Malik back to pass. Malik under pressure, rolling to his left, runs into the referee, still on his feet. Barton chasing him down. He's going to go out of bounds. Gavin Seelan looking for a flag on the near side, and Malik runs out of bounds back inside the 30-yard line. It's going to be a loss back to the 28, I believe, as Braden Malik running for his life.
They were trying to get the block in the back on Seelan. They wanted to see the flag, but in the same token, it's still for a loss. I'll tell you, this is the point where McBain has to keep their head about them.
Malik at quarterback. Franklin is your slot receiver on the far side. Malik back to throw. Franklin underneath and nearly picked off for the 4th time by Daniel Rodenbaugh. Ball was overthrown for Franklin, and Rodenbaugh had a chance at it. He knocks it to the ground.
He didn't expect a chance at that one. He was going up to try and just blow up Franklin, and then when he saw it was over Franklin, then he realized he had a chance at it, but it was a little bit too late. There you go.
And the Owls are going to call timeout. 2:49 remaining. A 4th and 16 coming up for Oscoda. I don't think it's hyperbole, Hawkeye, to say this is the play of the game coming up right now. Timeout on the field. We'll keep it here. I should send it back to the studio so that Hawkeye can breathe, but I'm not going to. You mute yourself if you need to. 14-12, McBain with the lead. 4th and 16 coming up for Oscoda from their own 29-yard line. Owen Franklin, whose spectacular catch gave the Owls a first down at the 35. They have gone backwards since. 2 pass plays. Chased out of bounds was Braden Malik. And a running play that got nothing for them has set up this huge 4th down. And if Rambler fans know anything, it's that 4th and 16 doesn't necessarily mean that you've got a team where you want them, as the Ramblers have scored long touchdowns on 4th down plays in consecutive games.
They lost to Houghton Lake on a 4th down play.
Yep.
They lost to Lake City because of a 4th down conversion by the team.
Yep.
4th down is the battle down right now. McBain has lost 2 on 4th down. If they could do something here, will the story be different?
Dalton motion. Malik back to pass, knocked down by Ethan Barton at the line of scrimmage. And the Ramblers take over on downs. The long arm of the law on the left side of the line. Ethan Barton slaps down the pass attempt. And the Ramblers will take over at the 29-yard line with 2:44 to go in the ball game.
They call him Big Bird because of that wingspan, and he just introduced that to the Oscoda Owls, saying, you may be an owl, but Big Bird is in the house.
So the Ramblers will, I assume, in all likelihood, Hawkeye, come out in a full house backfield.
First and 10 for the Ramblers, called the 29-yard line.
And they will, going left to right. And now we got a flag as the Ramblers
delay
a game. The unfortunate part about that is they lose 5 yards and no clock ran off. Owls fans, to their credit, still in this one, still exhorting on their team here.
On the 34-yard line.
Well, we know anything can happen at this point, and there's nothing secure.
Nope. Brown under center. We'll hand it off in the middle. Logan. It's been a while since I said that name. Daniel Rodenbaugh over the 30-yard line down to the 29, picks up the yardage on the penalty. It'll bring up 2nd and 10 now for the Ramblers. More importantly, that gets the clock moving. 2:25 remaining. I believe, Hawkeye, do the Owls have one timeout left?
They do.
That's what we thought. Ramblers looking to the sideline. No doubt George Brown III will wait to snap this ball until the back judge indicates that there is 5 seconds remaining. He will raise his arm when there are 10 seconds left. There it is. And he will start signaling for 5. Brown will snap it. Brown will pitch out to Seelan. Seelan wants to throw, and he needs to just swallow this, and he drops it. Picked up by Dalt, and Dalt will get tackled back at the 36-yard line. I don't know if that was a design play by the Ramblers, but Seelan loses the handle on the ball. He looked for all the world, Hawkeye, like he was going to throw, but there was nobody to throw to. Under pressure from the Owls, I thought he was going to swallow it, and he lost the handle on it. And with 1:51 left, Oscoda is back in business with the ball at the 36-yard line. Malik back to pass, looking to his left, firing to the sideline, has a man wide open inside the 50. Caught by Dalton, brought down. Seelan thought there was a fumble, but they're going to say he was down by contact. And so it will stay Oscoda football at the 44-yard line of McBain. First down, Oscoda. Minute 40 and ticking remaining in the game. 14-12 Ramblers with the lead. Owls checking their wrists for the play call. Franklin is in the backfield with Malik. Sends Host in motion. Malik back to throw. Firing underneath to the sideline. Has a man. Caught and knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. That is Anthony Ward, the sophomore. Gavin Seelan on the tackle. And it is a first down for the Owls at the Rambler 30-yard line. Yeah, we are going to get a timeout. No, we're not.
It's just to stop the clock because he got out of bounds.
Minute 25 to go as the Owls come to the line. Franklin is lined up in the slot to the far side. Malik back to throw. And we are going to get a timeout this time by the Ramblers with 1:25 remaining. 1st and 10 from the 30 coming up for Oscoda. We will take a quick break and be back in 30 right after this.
Why do high school sports really exist? For 99% of the participants, it's the biggest stage they will ever play on, and it provides the most educational value, teaching sportsmanship, ethics, integrity, hard work, and teamwork. It's about playing with local friends against local rivals and creating lifetime relationships. They build community spirit, and they're worthy of your continued support. A message from the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
And welcome back to Cadillac Mercy Hospital, Munson Hospital, Cadillac Hospital East, as I'm pulling out the defibrillator for Hawkeye. 1:25 remaining in this one. 14-12, Ramblers with the lead, but the Owls, after a Rambler fumble with inside 2 minutes to go, have the ball first down at the McBain 30. Malik under pressure, firing near side. Was that intercepted? No, it was not. Boy, there was some question for a moment. The line judge looking at each other because they weren't sure. George Brown III. Brown not arguing the call, so he clearly didn't think he got it. So the incomplete pass with 1:20 remaining will bring up 2nd and 10 for the Owls.
But that looked like a downfield pick play, as there was 2 receivers, and one was driving the cornerback back, and the other one slipped in his back pocket for a button hook.
And Ryan Pace, the defensive coach for the Ramblers, dialing up a blitz as they sent 5 on that last play. This time they sent Host in motion. Malik again throws over the middle. He's got Franklin. Franklin trying to get to the right edge, and Franklin will get out of bounds inside the 30 up to the 26-yard line. It's going to be a short gain. It'll bring up 3rd and about 6 now for the Owls, but the clock will stop with 1:12 remaining. 2-point Rambler lead. Mark the ball at the 25-yard line. 3rd and 5 for the Owls. Malik gets the play call, now hustles back out.
Defense has been the calling card all season. Now they need him more than ever.
Franklin will line up as the wing to the left side of the line. They send Dalton motion. Malik back to throw. Malik rolling to his left with time. Malik is going to tuck it and run, and he's tripped up in the backfield by Ethan Barton, and that will keep the clock running. And now we're going to get
the Owls last time out.
I would hope so. Why they stop the clock if that's not the case?
Well, they're calling for the clock to start on the far side.
The clock is not running with 59 seconds. Now the referee starts the clock. I don't know why the clock stopped. He was tackled in bounds. In any case, 4th and 5 now for the Owls. And now we're going to get a timeout. No, we're going to get a stoppage because I think Coach Maloney wants to know why the clock wasn't started, maybe. Maybe he wants an explanation as to why it did stop. Couldn't tell you how much time should have elapsed. When that tackle was made in bounds, the official stopped the clock, and he was looking, I want to say he was looking honestly at Braden Malik, the quarterback, to see maybe if Braden Malik was okay. I don't know. But here we go, 4th and 5 now. Trips to the right for the Owls. Malik back to pass. Pump fake, slips to the ground, down. Tackled by Keegan Yaklin. As Malik slipped as he went back on the pump fake, tried to fake the bubble screen to the receivers and slipped to the turf. Yaklin made sure he wasn't going anywhere. And with 20 seconds remaining, the Ramblers take over and can take it to victory formation.
They lost 2 games on 4th down plays. It took them 2 4th down plays to put this game away.
Good snap. George Brown takes a knee, and that is going to do it. The McBain Ramblers come 2.5 hours to Oscoda and upset the Owls 14-12. They live to play another week.
Wow, what a fantastic finish to the game for the Ramblers. After that turnover, they had defense, only gave up 2 touchdowns in the very first 2 drives, and the rest of the time, they have been able to hold this high-powered Owl offense and kept them grounded.
14-12, your final here in Oscoda. We will take a break, collect our stats and our thoughts. The Kelly's Pizza and Grill postgame show coming your way right after this.
Just like a referee needs great eyesight to make the big calls, you need great eyesight to tackle life's challenges. At Advanced Optometry in Cadillac, their qualified and professional staff works together to ensure your visit is comfortable, accommodating your busy schedule and addressing any questions prior to your appointment. Whether it's a general eye exam or treating a condition that requires an in-depth diagnosis, you'll get undivided attention and a plan based on your needs and Advanced Optometry's expert opinion. Focused on your eye health, Advanced Optometry on Polister Street in Cadillac. Learn more at advancedoptometry.com.
When it's late, when it's snowing, when you just have to have it. It's nice knowing McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain is open 7 days a week. Locally owned and operated with the friendliest cashiers helping to serve your grocery needs. From candy and chips to pop and munchies, McNally's Party Store, they're still keeping it cold. And wishing the McBain Ramblers good luck in tonight's game. That's McNally's Party Store in downtown McBain, open 7 days a week.
In the small town of McBain lies a locally owned family pharmacy that takes pride in helping improve the health of every patient that comes through the door. At McBain Family Pharmacy, you're more than just a prescription. Here, you're family, and their experienced team of professionals are always available to answer any questions you may have regarding prescription and over-the-counter medications. McBain Family Pharmacy is your full-service family pharmacy for both traditional and compound medications. Call them today at 231-825-8175. That's 231-825-8175. Or stop by their store, located at 119 North Roland Street in McBain.
High school students are training for the jobs of tomorrow today at the Wexford-Missaukee Career Technical Center in Cadillac. Juniors and seniors from 12 area high schools can choose from 14 career-driven programs. Free college credit is available. Visit WMISD.org and click or tap the Career Technical Education link. See all the great programs, then talk to your student's counselor. Call 876-2200. The Wexford-Missaukee Career Technical Center on 13th Street across from Baker College. Proud to serve the students of McBain High School. CTC is the place to be.
McBain Rural Agricultural Schools is looking for the next generation of Ramblers. If you want to give your child the gift of a great education, make McBain Rural Agricultural Schools your school of choice. Every McBain Rambler gets a MacBook or iPad, a strong curriculum, including a variety of vocational programs, great athletics, and access to a brand new state-of-the-art performing arts center. Because great performances shouldn't be limited to the football field and basketball court. School of Choice is now open, which means a huge decision for your family is upon you. If you want a school that will challenge your child, support your child, and celebrate your child's individuality, make sure McBain is on your short list. It's never too late to change schools, and McBain is accepting students K through 12th grade. For more information, visit McBain.org or call the superintendent's office at 231-825-2165. That's 231-825-2165. 231-825-2165.
With straightforward rewards checking from 4Front Credit Union, you get 4% rewards for doing stuff you do every day. Like logging onto your account and receiving e-statements. And you can open your account right online. It's that straightforward. Unlike someone's tee shot. Straightforward rewards from 4Front Credit Union. Are you getting 4%? 4.08% annual percentage yield. Rate subject to change. Interest paid on balance up to $15,000. Some requirements apply. Insured by NCUA.
To Oscoda High School, where the McBain Ramblers have upset the Oscoda Owls 14-12 in a Division VII pre-district contest. The Ramblers advance to survive to the district title game next week. They will play at either Traverse City St. Francis or Houghton Lake. The winner of that game will host that district final, as they both have more playoff points than do the Ramblers. That game being played at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon at Thurlby Field. So the Ramblers will not only get a chance to watch their potential opponent play, but they get an extra day of rest going into next week. But wow, what an effort. Jay Simon alongside Gary Hawkeye Vanna. Hawkeye, this was all about the defense, as the Oscoda Owls came out and punched the Ramblers in the mouth, scoring touchdowns on their opening two possessions. They got a 6-0 lead on a 5-yard touchdown run. And then after the Ramblers' punt was blocked, set up shop at the 22-yard line of McBain, and 3 plays later punched it in with a 3-yard touchdown run. But key point, unable to convert either 2-point conversion following those touchdowns. After the two teams traded punts, the Ramblers got an interception and the ball at the Oscoda 40-yard line, facing a 4th down and 15 from the 45. George Brown III connected with Gavin Seelan for a touchdown. Seelan then would run in the 2-point conversion after a crucial penalty call. After the Ramblers failed the first time they tried, they cut the lead to 12-8. That was our halftime score. And at the start of the second half, the Ramblers took the ball at their own 33-yard line, and 12 plays later, Gavin Seelan ran it in for his second touchdown of the game. 2-point conversion failed, but the Ramblers had a 14-12 lead. And from there, it was all about the defense. Daniel Rodenbaugh picked off the Owls for the 3rd time to end the 3rd quarter of play. Ramblers didn't get much done offensively, but the Owls didn't get much done offensively either. And even after the Ramblers coughed it up with 1:51 left in the game, when it looked like all the world they might run out the clock, the defense again stepped up. With 1:51 remaining, Oscoda took over at their own 36. got into Rambler territory down to the 25, but the Ramblers forced the turnover on downs with 10 seconds remaining, and a final kneel from George Brown III sends the Ramblers into next week.
Wow, what a fantastic game. You thought McBain was about ready to break it open, and they could have salted the game away with that rushing that they had going on, and then the fumble with less than 2 minutes left. Fourth downs have been the major bugaboo of McBain, and they turned around and they were able to somehow answer the bell defensively, and it was just really a fantastic finish out there for the Ramblers.
You got some stats for us, Hawkeye, from that game?
Oh, I do have some stats. I'm a little distracted as you're excited for the McBain Ramblers, but then you go look at the middle of the field, and if you want to quickly describe that.
Yeah, the Owls meeting over in the north end zone to our left. Parents filtering out now to come out and console their young men as their season has come to an end here on their home field. But out in the center of the field on the 50-yard line was one of the Owls seniors who has played his last game in the blue and white. And obviously a little disconsolate, and it's a tough moment. As Rambler fans, obviously happy for our young men that they get to advance and play for another week. But important to remember that there are good young men on both sides of the ball. And for the Owls and their seniors, this is the final time they'll pull on these blue and white jerseys on a football field, and just kind of soaking in the last few moments here out there at midfield.
Well, the McBain Ramblers, they were led by Daniel Rodenbaugh. He had 114 yards rushing on 23 carries. He had 3 interceptions, and he had another 10 yards receiving. George Brown was 4 for 16 with 80 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Gavin Seelan, he had 61 total yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 on a 45-yard reception, 1 on a 5-yard dive as part of his 51 total yards rushing. Defensively, Gavin Seelan led the defense with 8 tackles. George Brown III had another 7. Trevor Bode had 6. Ethan Barton had a huge sack and 3 knocked down passes, 1 on a 4th down. That was a game-changing moment.
There's your stats. This is the Kelly's Pizza and Grill post-game show. Our sincere thanks to Kelly's Pizza and Grill and all our broadcast partners for their support of tonight's broadcast. Run down a few of those for you. We've got some post-game awards to hand out. While we let Hawkeye think about that a little bit, we'll let you know Burkholder Family Funeral Home, McBain Auto Service, Ceres Innovation Solutions, Forefront Credit Union, McBain Rural Agricultural School, Wexford McSaukey Career Tech Center, McNally's Party Store, McBain Family Pharmacy, LC Materials, and Don's Auto Clinic and High Point Cadillac GMC, our broadcast partners for tonight's broadcast. If you want to be a part of next weekend's broadcast, hit us up.
Yeah.
Contact us at 876-107.9, and we will be happy to get you a part of our broadcast next week. Where will that be? We don't know. When will that be? We don't know. But make sure you check us out at Facebook, 107.9 CDY. We'll be sure to post that information once we find out. The Ramblers will be taking on the winner of either Houghton Lake or Traverse City St. Francis. That game being played tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. at Thurlby Field. Time for some post-game awards, Hawkeye.
Post-game awards, we can do them now that Isaac made it back. I'm going to give you the Judy K. Gildy picture-perfect play of the game. Please. And that was the 4th down touchdown pass for the first score for the McBain Ramblers from George Brown III to Gavin Seelan. And that was the one that finally stopped the bleeding from the Owls, and really McBain slowly kept the momentum there. They kind of just stopped the ship there, and they was able to get enough to get another score to win. So Judy K. Gildy, picture perfect play of the game. George Brown, Gavin Seelan, 45-yard, 4th down, touchdown pass.
There you go. How about the Huntington Electric lineman of the game?
Well, the Huntington Electric lineman of the game could be only one man, and that would be Big Bird Ethan Barton with the 3 knockdown passes, 1 on 4th down, which has been a major bugaboo for this team, and a huge sack in the 4th quarter. He had the speed to really disrupt the passing game. Solo from the line. Ethan Barton is your Huntington Electric offensive lineman of the game.
Again, we want to thank our broadcast partners. They include Shepherd's Insurance Agent, McLean Transmissions, Kelly's Pizza and Grill, L&J Meat Market, Judy K. Gildy Photography, Advanced Optometry, Pluger Mechanical, Northern Truck Service, McBain Hardware, and Huttinga Electric. Our sincere thanks to each and every one of our broadcast partners for allowing us to bring you tonight's game. And that leaves us, Hawkeye, with just one more thing to do, the most exciting 15 seconds in all of broadcasting, and that is, of course, the L&J Meat Market Hawkeye Player of the Game. Isaac, if you wouldn't mind, a little drum roll.
Well, I know that Roger does not sign off until I do this, so this goes out. Your L&J Meat Market Player of the Game can only be one man, and it's a man who you felt like was the mule because you just kept on pounding more weight on him. You got on the back and you asked the mule to move the rock 6-7 yards at a time and to keep it possessed through the middle. And that's going to be Daniel Rodenbaugh with 114 yards rushing and almost four, but three huge interceptions. Daniel Rodenbaugh is your Hawkeye Player of the Game.
Easiest call of the year so far, I would have to say, as he did it on both sides of the ball tonight. Daniel Rodenbaugh, as Hawkeye mentioned, 114 yards rushing and 3 interceptions defensively, is your L&J Meat Market Hawkeye Player of the Game. That's going to do it for us from Oscoda High School. Where will we be next week? We're not sure. Make sure you check us out on Facebook, 107.9 CDY. The Ramblers await the winner of Traverse City St. Francis and Houghton Lake. That game being played tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. For our producer and engineer, Abby Danforth, for Gary Hawkeye Vanna, I'm Jay Simon. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. We will see you next week, 14-12, the Ramblers advance. This has been your Rambler Athletics on 107.9 CDY.
Good night, boys.